Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Monday, June 19th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 98. Coming up on OTB, we have a bunch of guests today. Ronnie Rance joins the show at 7:30. We talk to the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, at 8 a.m. A new edition of Weekend Winners at 8:15. Billy Embody joins the show at 8:30. And we talk to Connor O'Gara at 9 a.m. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, and welcome into OTB here on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Jake, Mario, and Taylor here with you on a Monday morning. No T-Bob Hebert. He is somewhere in the Carolinas. He will join us at some point. In typical T-Bob fashion, he reached out to us last night, asked what time he was going to come on, and that was the only text that we got. So if we get a reply from T-Bob, we'll certainly have him on as well. Mario, Taylor, I'd say happy Father's Day. I don't know what y'all did for Father's Day. I don't know if you spent it with your father. How was the weekend, Mario?
It was good. Celebrated it with my stepdad, other people in the family. Good vibes. LSU got the win. We're kind of in the heart of summer, so it was a good weekend, man.
How much baseball did you get a chance to sit down and watch, Mario?
I actually saw a good amount.
Okay.
I was kind of into the Stanford Wake Forest game. Had Stanford winning that game, unfortunately. I don't think the delay helped, but was totally locked into LSU. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so not only watching LSU, but also now we have you betting on college baseball, which I can get behind. And, hey, if you have to put some of your hard-earned money on a sport to get into a sport, because obviously you're going to watch LSU, Mario, but I can get behind that, maybe get you intrigued a little bit.
Hell yeah. As you're implying, not the biggest baseball guy, but this is the College World Series. We have a rooting interest in LSU, and frankly, there's no other sports till, August. So, yeah, I can get into it.
Hey, look, if you need anything about Chinese baseball, Japanese baseball, any kind of soccer league, Swedish league, for betting purposes, I'll hook you up as well. Taylor, how was Father's Day for you?
Yeah, it was good. We went to Bay St. Louis. I left Friday after work, got home about 4 o'clock yesterday. Just took a little weekend trip, rented a house on the bay. It was nice.
I'm sure it was nice. That sounds like a great time, and you had a chance to watch LSU baseball as well, I assume?
Yeah, I did. I watched almost every pitch of LSU baseball.
Yeah, every dominating pitch probably from Paul Skeens, the gift that keeps on giving, and there's not much left to say about Paul Skeens. He was dominant yet again. I mean, he goes 7 2/3, only gives up 5 hits. Now he does give up 2 earned runs because one of those runners that he left on base was one of the guys that scored on Gavin Guidry, giving up the home run there. But 12 strikeouts, and he was just dominating. I mean, he is such a presence on the mound, and he just continues to wow you. No matter how many times you've seen it, it's just so impressive because you were in the College World Series. You were going against a team that came into the season number 2 in the country. You're coming in to a team that plays in the SEC, a team that is very talented. You're not supposed to be able to do that, what Paul Skeens did in the College World Series, but he did it, and he was dominating as he ever is and was and will always seem to be. And it's just you run out of superlatives to say about Paul Skeens. And we've seen great pitchers in college baseball. We've certainly seen great pitchers at LSU. We have seen major leaguers. I just don't know that one can be as dominant as he is. And you hear the announcers. You hear Kyle Peterson. You hear Chris Burke. Chris Burke's a big leaguer. Guy played a long time in the big leagues. I mean, Kyle Peterson was one of the better college pitchers that you'll see. I mean, in a time where it was hitter-friendly as well, right? During kind of, guerrilla ball era for LSU. That's when Kyle Peterson was pitching for Stanford, and they've run out of things to say. And every single time that he's out there, he not only gives you the chance to win. If you lose, it's shocking. That's how dominating he is. And then the bats show up as well, right? You win the game against Tennessee 6-3. All right, true circle around the room. When it got hairy, how hairy was it for you? Because You feel like you're coasting. You feel like you're cruising. And the rest of the College World Series, boys, if you kind of watched it paying attention, that's how every game had gone to that point. A team jumped out to a lead, looked like they were going to cruise to a victory. All of a sudden, here comes the other team. And the other team, in the other cases, had won to that point. So what was the meter like for you?
Yeah, man. Baseball, I'm sorry, Taylor. Baseball is very fickle. Like I told you guys on Friday, I was at a birthday party watching the game, and the vibes were really good the whole time. But Guidry comes in, they hit the home run, things get a little bit hairy. I was a little bit nervous, but shout out to Cooper. He came in and held it down.
I wasn't super nervous. I mean, I was a little bit when it got 5-3, but if you remember the top of the next inning, LSU was at bat. Braden Joubert hit the solo homer to make it 6-3. At that point, I was calmed. You had a 3-run lead going into the ninth. I wasn't super worried at that point.
The home run obviously does calm some of your nerves. And also, and look, Gavin Guidry is a freshman, and he came into a spot. He threw one pitch. It was a hanger, and they made him pay for it. That's not going to define who he is, and he's going to have many more opportunities. And in that, you were trying to go righty-righty. He didn't want to bring Cooper in. I would assume it was going to be Cooper probably regardless, coming in, maybe not the next hitter, but he was coming in very soon. He is your veteran guy. He is the guy that has led you in appearances over the last 3 years at Arizona, now 2 different times at LSU. He is somebody that you can trust. In the postseason, he has been lights out. He's been one of the better pitchers in the country in the postseason. When you look at what Riley Cooper, the bad body god, has come in and done for you, and he's kind of done it a different way. Like, he's striking guys out in big key moments. It's no longer just, letting them put it in play and finding a way to get them out. I mean, he is punching some really good hitters out. So I'll agree. Like, once the home runs hit, you look up and you're like, okay, here comes the LSU bullpen. It's been really good in the postseason. What can they give you here in this big spot? And, 9 times out of 10, maybe in the regular season, maybe Guidry gets more. Not in the postseason. You go to the veteran guy. You go to the guy that you have trusted in 2 different spots, and then Riley Cooper comes in. He gives you an inning and a third, only gives up 1 hit, 2 big strikeouts, and LSU is able to close the door. And there's a lot of performances that we're going to go over here throughout the show. Obviously, we got, as Mario laid out for you, we got Ronnie Ranch Jumbo, who's called a ton of LSU games, coming on at 7:30. We've got Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, at 8 o'clock. Obviously, talk about what happened the other night, but preview Wake Forest, and could be, and I know they got some researchers doing some research, it could be the first time LSU was a true underdog this year. And if it's not the first time, it's certainly the first and maybe a handful of times that LSU is going to be an underdog against Wake Forest. But we've talked about Paul Skeens. We'll continue to talk about Paul Skeens. But as we go to the lineup here in this opening segment, Braden Joubert, I mean, what else can you say about that guy betting on himself, right? And guys leave and guys transfer, and LSU's got some transfers. We're going to talk about those guys that are coming in to LSU. We talked about one the other day. You get another arm from Xavier. We'll talk about those guys. But this is somebody that bet on himself, right? It's a guy that started his career at Nichols, was a really good player, could have stayed there, probably could have played his entire time. But he decides, hey, I know where I can end up. And he goes to junior college. We all know the story. Goes to junior college. Now he ends up at LSU. Had a monster year a year ago. Some ups and downs this year. But as of late, there's been a lot of ups. And he comes up huge in this game. I mean, he was a single away from the cycle. And remember, I mean, he was a few inches away from a cycle. And the only time that he got out there was very easily going to be a single. You get a little bit of glove on it. He's 4 plate appearances. He gets those 3 hits. I mean, the massive home run. He's getting the triple. He was the spark plug for LSU. A guy, again, in the fall, you don't really know where he's going to end up. Same thing for Gavin Dugas, and we've talked about it. It's been a theme for this team. You don't really know where he's going to end up in the fall. He hits a home run, gives you the first runs. Kind of, with Paul Skeens on the mound, it sounds crazy, but like as soon as you got a run across the plate, like you just felt the entire stadium kind of change a little bit. I mean, I don't know if y'all felt that, Taylor, on the TV. Gavin Dugas hits that home run. It's like, okay, we got Paul Skeens. Like, that might be enough.
Yeah, well, you felt that, and then you got another run shortly thereafter to make it 2-0 early in that game, and after that, you were kind of like, all right, everything else is just kind of land yap at this point.
Yeah, you look at some of the guys that contributed. Obviously, you got Trey Morgan has another big game. He is having a monster postseason. We mentioned Joe Bear and what he's been able to give you. You love seeing Gavin Dugas go out there and do what he does. And again, like by the time you get to this point, we know the storylines. And Gavin Dugas has been an LSU baseball player for a very long time. Like we know his story. We know how he's gotten here. And we do forget that he led the SEC in RBIs not that long ago. And you just think about where he's at in your lineup. Like this is someone that a couple of years ago did lead the SEC in RBIs, and he sits there at the 6th position in your lineup. Now, obviously he was leadoff a long time this year, but just sits there. Like how many teams can say that they have an RBI leader in his career in the SEC, the best baseball conference, just sitting there at 6th? In the lineup, right? I mean, this lineup does not allow opposing pitchers to come up for air, and that's what makes it so hard to beat LSU. And yeah, it's going to be tested, and Ty Floyd's got to be good, all of those things, certainly. But when you look at who they have in this lineup, and then Jordan Thompson gives you an RBI from the bottom of the lineup, Pearson gives you a hit from the bottom of the lineup, it's not forgiving. There's no place to breathe, and that's what gives LSU an opportunity in every single game that they play. We're going to talk about the matchup they've got obviously coming up with Wake Forest throughout the show. This truly feels like 1 versus 2 to me. And you can put it in any order that you want to. And I know LSU's got a 5 next to their name and Wake Forest has a 1. There's only been 2 teams that were number 1 in the country throughout this college baseball season. It was LSU for a majority, and it was Wake Forest at the end. This, to me, is 1 versus 2. And again, I don't care what order you can put Wake Forest 1 because they're probably going to be a favorite by the time game time comes. That's fine. It's 1 versus 2. I think these are the 2 best teams in Omaha. They're going to face off tonight. We're going to preview it throughout the show. We'll take our first break of the show. We've got, again, Ronnie Ranch joining us in about 15 minutes from now. Stay locked in here to OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory, all with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Group, you get it all. We are the largest automotive group in Louisiana. All-star price, all-star service, all-star selection, all-star cares. Find the brands you want at allstarautomotive.com.
Preferred Data Voice Networks has provided Baton Rouge businesses with telephone systems that offer flexibility, affordability, and reliability since 1980. From your initial consultation to installation and beyond, Preferred Data Voice Networks does it all. With pure cloud to on-premise deployments, a 30-day free trial, and around-the-clock support, Preferred Data Voice Networks is the only business communication service provider you need. Call today for your free phone assessment at 225-924-2700 or visit us online at pdvn.net.
It's on. Join me for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I'll either be previewing LSU's big-time matchup Monday night or talking when nobody's listening because you're watching the game. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 Monday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It was 1989, my thoughts were short, my hair was long. Caught somewhere between a boy and man. She was 17 and she was far from in between. It was summertime in northern Michigan.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, we'll go back into OTB, talking LSU versus Wake Forest. And if you heard Hunt Palmer's promo there, don't worry, Hunt. You'll have listeners today because LSU is not in the loser's bracket. They are in that winner's bracket because, like we said, and like you already know, they take care of Tennessee. Wake Forest takes care of Stanford. That was a really, really good baseball game. Again, the theme in the College World Series to the point where LSU was playing Tennessee was you got down, looked like you were out, and you found a way to win, and Wake Forest did that against Stanford. Now, a lot of you are going to know who Wake Forest is, but, you know, not a traditional baseball power. They've been good as of late, but this is a team that certainly deserves to be exactly where they're at. Wake Forest is the national #1 seed. They did finish the regular season as the #1 team in every college baseball poll. They're a team that hits 308 as a team. They've hit 130 home runs, something we've talked about last week, right? Them being one of the top home run hitting teams in the country, not just in Omaha. They like to run. They've stolen 43 bases in 45 attempts, so they're smart when they run as well. Wake Forest pitching staff, team ERA, 2.82 with 748 strikeouts and only 554 and 2/3 innings. The staff only gives up a 204 batting average, right? And we'll get to their pitchers here in a second. As far as position players, they are led by infielder catcher Brock Wilkin, who's hitting .358, 15 doubles, a triple, 31 home runs, 81 RBIs. Infielder Justin Johnson, also a stud, has 16 homers, 76 RBIs. And Nick Kurtz, who you'll see in the infield and the outfield, has 24 home runs and 69 RBIs. Thought for sure one of the boys would say nice. Going to the pitching staff there for Wake Forest, we know who the ace is. And ESPN.com, and I'll see if I can link this inside of the Value Forward chat. They did a really nice job a couple of days ago of kind of breaking down Wake Forest, their pitching staff. If you watch the Wake Forest-Stanford game, right before the weather delay, they had, someone on there because they have this pitching lab, and they have the doctor who's kind of set up the pitching lab and everything that kind of goes into it. And they actually talked to her for a pretty long time there on the broadcast. And so they did a story on it on ESPN.com, and it kind of gives you an idea of who this staff is and kind of breaks it down also in different tiers. And it's actually worth a read as you get it ready for LSU Wake Forest coming up tonight. So again, I'll link that inside the Bayou Forward chat. But of course, it has it, as I mentioned, in tiers. So Rhett Lauder is going to be what they call the ace. Well, she's not facing Rhett Lauder. He pitched against Stanford, so we'll continue on. But he is a stud. He is somebody that's going to pitch in the big leagues. And they have multiple guys that they feel like have that ability, because the next tier, the guy you'll probably see tonight, Josh Hartley, he's in what they call the phenom tier. And it says, in kind of the write-up, that he might be the most impressive prospect Wake Forest has ever signed. Okay, it kind of gives you an idea of who you're going to face. And there's a ton of quotes in there. It kind of breaks down the mechanics of what he has done. And this is somebody that really in ACC play was almost unhittable at times. And so you're going to get a big, hard-throwing lefty. He has a 2.59 ERA. He's 10-2 on the year, 120 strikeouts in 90 1/3 innings. So you're facing a good pitcher. You're facing someone that a lot of people think is going to be a big league pitcher, at least have that opportunity to be a big league pitcher. Okay, so you're facing a great lineup. You're facing somebody on the bump that is going to be really good. He is a lefty. We'll see how that works out for LSU, but that's what it's supposed to be when you face the number one team in the country. You know it's not going to be easy. You know that you're going to have to come up with clutch hits. You also know that you're going to have clutch pitching. You're going to have Ty Floyd come in, step in, and be the guy that he has been at times this year. That is what you need from him. You're not going to go through Omaha, no matter how talented you are. It doesn't matter who you have. Yes, you have the best pitcher in the country, and you have the best position player in the country. We know that, right? That's not just us saying it here in Baton Rouge. That's everyone you talk to that covers baseball. That is every site that you look at. It's also the Golden Spikes. You have 2 of the 3 finalists. There's only one pitcher. I mean, Caglione obviously does both, but you know what I'm saying. There's no doubt Paul Skeens is the better pitcher of those 2, and you have Dylan Cruz. Wake Forest, though, has Jimmys and Joes. We talk about it all the time in football. This is a team where you need guys to step up. That's what Omaha's about. What happened in game number 1? Braden Joubert. What did he do? Well, he stepped up, okay? Not that he can't do it. Not that he hasn't done it in his LSU career, but he was on fire. I mean, he is 2 inches away from being 4 for 4 and hit for the cycle in the College World Series. I mean, we saw the exit velo on every time that he put a ball in play, right? That's him stepping up just a little bit, going outside of maybe his norm just a little bit, and then getting you a victory there in Omaha. So that's what you're going to need from Ty Floyd, from some of the LSU Tigers. It's what you got really, like, look at Riley Cooper and what he's done this postseason. I was talking about it earlier. He's gone 12 1/3, right? He's only given up 2 earned runs, and that's going back. If you go to Arkansas in the SEC tournament, so we're talking postseason play here. You go to Oregon State in the regional. You go to Kentucky in the Super, and now you go against Tennessee in the College World Series. That's what you have to have in moments like that. You have to have those guys continue to step up, and it can be a different guy. That's the best part about this LSU lineup when we talk about it not being forgiving, you not coming up for breath, right? Because as good as Hartley is, and he's damn good, right? It's going to be a challenge for him too, because if you're listening to, Winston-Salem radio today, they're talking about the LSU lineup like we're talking about Wake Forest staff and their lineup, right? They're talking about those same things. So you've got it as well. Go out there and show up. No one more important. I get it. Like, the lineup is the lineup. I know no one's more important than who you've got out there as your starting pitcher. But if you get that one performance, who can step up in the lineup? You've seen guys step up from the bullpen, and it's a matchup that we're going to continue to talk about. We're going to continue to break down. We'll go around the room real quick, boys. Little vibe check around the room. How are we feeling about tonight?
Feeling pretty good, man. LSU's got the juice right now, I think. I know Wake Forest is the betting favorite, I believe, coming into the tournament. It's going to be tough, but I have faith in LSU right now.
I feel really good. I'm kind of getting vibes of LSU versus Oregon State. Back when they had to beat that team, twice in 2 days. You only have to beat this team once, at least for right now. But It just seems like one of those days where something special may happen. Maybe it's a great performance by Ty Floyd where he goes 6.5 innings, strikes out 10 guys. Maybe you score 8 runs on this pitching staff. All you need is one thing to go your way. And I think tonight could be the night.
It's going to be a hell of a game. It's a matchup that a lot of people thought should have been a national championship play for it all matchup. A lot of people were surprised these two teams ended up in the same side of the bracket in the way that it was formatted at the beginning. A lot of people upset by it not being a national championship. There's even people saying that, wait a minute, did they try to get 2 SEC teams in the champ? Look, I'm not into conspiracies. All I know, well, at least not in this. I mean, plenty of conspiracies. As Mario's our conspiracy. What would you expert?
Correspondent, yeah.
Correspondent as
Something
well,
like that.
yeah. Anytime there's a conspiracy, Mario has it covered. I don't think there's anything in that. Would I have liked to seen that? Yes, I would. But you can only control what you can control, and that is you're playing Wake Forest tonight, and they are throwing a stud, and you've got a guy that has not lost a game yet. I forget about it. I know we all forget about it, but Ty Floyd, it hasn't been perfect, certainly, but he has not lost a baseball game yet. Let's see if that can continue tonight in Omaha. All right, we will take a break. When we come back, someone who has called a ton of LSU baseball this year for ESPN Plus, our guy Jumbo, the owner of the Baton Rouge Rougarou Ronnie Ranch, joins us here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Get 3.99% financing at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Charles Hannegriff, our Omaha home for the College World Series is the Ameristar Casino and Hotel in Council Bluffs, Iowa, just minutes away from downtown Omaha. Enjoy the only casino buffet in the area and a full sports book. Eat, watch, and bet at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. Going to continue, obviously, talking Omaha, LSU, Wake Forest coming up tonight at 6 p.m. We're going to continue that conversation now with my guy, Jumbo Ronnie Rance, of course, host of Sports Shorts Radio here on 104.5, CEO, LA Sports Hall of Fame Foundation, owner of the Baton Rouge Rougarou. I mean, look at the resume there, Jumbo. How about it?
How's it going, fellas? Good morning.
Hey, look, I'm so happy that you came on early. Like, you and I used to do like late radio together, 6 to 8 p.m. radio together. And, we weren't morning people. And so like 7:30, Jumbo, like means a lot.
Let's go. I mean, I've been up 5 minutes. It's awesome.
Oh, all right. So obviously, Ronnie, we're talking LSU, Tennessee. We're talking LSU, Wake Forest coming up tonight. But let's look back before we look forward. And this is a team, obviously, you've covered a ton on ESPN Plus, caught a ton of their games. Paul Skeens and what he continues to do. There's like, I mentioned it earlier, like the superlatives, like what else do you say about the guy? Like you're not supposed to do what he just did in Omaha to an SEC baseball team in Tennessee.
Completely dominant. I mean, as we've been, everybody's trying to put into perspective the history of what he means to the game, what he means to LSU baseball. Obviously, that conversation isn't over with. We'll see what happens if he gets another start while in Omaha. But just spectacular. And no disrespect to Ben McDonald, but Ben McDonald did not have success at the College World Series. He had some struggles. Obviously the most famous, the home run as a freshman that he gave up to Paul Carey, the Grand Slam, and then he had the blister issues. His last year, his junior year, when he was expected to do like Paul Skeens in Omaha, he had some physical problems which prevented that. Paul Skeens, his one time in Omaha was probably as good as you could possibly do, right? Just about, and incredible.
You're kind of a historian of LSU baseball, Ronnie. Anytime we would talk baseball back in the day, you would have just names ready to go as far as, kind of in this order of greatest first baseman, greatest whatever. Is this the greatest single-season pitching performance you've ever seen from an LSU player?
It is, yeah. It's the most dominant. The only other one in conversation is 1992. Lloyd Peaver went 14-0 with a 1.99 earned run average, and he did not walk a batter that year until inning number 40-something, which is incredible. And he missed 2 starts because he took a line drive off the forehead, and that knocked him out of 2 starts, or he might have been 16-0 with a 1.9. But as far as the strikeouts and the just dominance of a guy throwing 100 with the control, that's the thing. It's not even just the 100 and the strikeouts. It's the command and everything else. So, yeah, in my opinion, it's the most dominant performance in the modern era, probably for the entire, season, not just LSU, but in general.
Ronnie, another thing that has been fun to watch with this team, and we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks, is just guys continue to step up and they weren't really part of the plan maybe in fall baseball. And we've laid out the list. But, Gavin Dugas hitting yet again another big home run in an LSU uniform. And, Braden Joe Bear certainly was, he's part of the plans, but you didn't really know like how much he was going to be involved. And we've talked long about Hayden Travinsky and Cade Beloso. Like this team just continues to have guys step up that were kind of afterthoughts. And again, I'll throw it to like an LSU historian question. Like, do you remember a team that's had kind of like this makeup, this DNA where, yeah, you've got your first rounders and you have them at the top, but you've got this group of guys that just won't go away, right? I mean, it just
Right.
keeps showing up, and they just keep playing.
Well, it's interesting, and now statute of limitations is up, but in the fall, Dugas and Joe Bear, it was questionable whether they were going to. How are they going to get into the lineup?
Right.
They got a Paxton Kling. They got all these new faces. They got all these other cats like, Pearson and Cruz, and they're in, and then Kling, and then some other options. And so there was a time where Jay Johnson genuinely was not sure how both of those guys were going to factor in. And matter of fact, he had a conversation with Coach Burtman at the end of the fall where he was like, okay, how do you deal with your veteran guys that have been guys? Mm-hmm. Dugas had 19 home runs 2 years ago and led the SEC in RBI. Joe Bear hits 18 home runs last year, and now it's like, okay, one or both might not get in the starting lineup. Like what do we do? And this was also back when Skeens was hitting. Skeens was the third best hitter in the fall for LSU. And so if he would have played and hit just as a DH, he would have taken Beloso's spot, or he'd have taken Joe Bear's spot. So he had those concerns, like how do you handle a team like that? And it all worked out. And here's the thing. We're talking about those two guys that are Dugas is a fifth-year senior. Joe Bear is a fourth-year guy. So veteran players in college baseball, and not just college baseball, all sports, but veteran fourth and fifth-year players in college sports, they win and they work out and they have great years, and that's what you're seeing. And a perspective, an example, Tom Bernhardt, who a lot of people know here in town. Tom played on the '97 national championship team, right field, had a great season that year. And Tom didn't do much for 3 years before. He's a big recruit from Miami. It didn't work for him. And then all of a sudden, bam, after you're there 4 years and you're comfortable and you're in the system, he has has a great season and is a big part of that national championship.
Tronny, you used to be a Austin Bain denier back in the day when he led. I think he led the SEC.
Bain train,
he led the SEC in doubles. You got like 4 Austin Bains basically. Just guys you're like, wait a minute, what? Like, oh yeah. Now a little bit different story because Austin was like a relief pitcher.
That still just shocks me. I mean, the guy literally didn't swing the bat for 3 years and he beat the SEC in doubles. Like, what's that all about? My goodness.
All right. Before we again preview the Wake Forest matchup, how about Riley Cooper out of the bullpen, Jumbo? I know, hey, as a lefty coming out of the bullpen, being counted, I know you can appreciate what he's been able to do. He's been really lights out this entire postseason, even going back to the SEC tournament against Arkansas. He's led the last 3 Jay Johnson coach teams in appearances, and just time and time again, he comes up big. I know it hasn't always been clean this year, but he feels as locked in as any relief pitcher right now.
Look, I mean, as the founder of the Hefty Lefty Club, I am.
But hey, you're Slimbo right now, though. Don't let the people fool you.
Yeah, but I mean, back in the day, 6'5", 270, even though they listed me at 240, 245 in the program, I can respect what Riley Cooper's doing, although it looked a little different. I was more tight end type body. But that thing is that he finally, I think early on, maybe he tried too hard. Maybe they wanted to make him a starter. Look, he's a switchblade. He's a Swiss Army knife rather than a switchblade. Let me say that again.
What are y'all doing in Alexandria growing up, Ronnie?
He's a Swiss Army knife. He can do a little bit of everything. He can be the guy that gets out the left. He can be the guy to close. He can be the guy to go long. Yeah. And there's a lot of trust there. I mean, he led the team in appearances last year. He was with Jay at Arizona and did well. Like, there's just a tremendous amount of years and trust that Jay Johnson has in him. And it's a good thing because, quite frankly, this is still a work in progress, even though we're running out of time as far as like who does what and when. Yeah. Riley Cooper can do anything for you.
Well, you're going to need guys to do a lot of things for you tonight. 6 p.m., you face the #1 team in the country, Wake Forest. And no matter which metric you use, it's impressive. I mean, if we go to what they're able to do as far as their team ERA, their team batting average, the home runs that they've hit, I mean, they are a complete baseball team, and you need Ty Floyd to be at his best. And I think it probably, gets talked about too much because of, I think, Paul Skeens being as dominant as he is, that even makes Ty Floyd and what he's doing maybe, highlighted a bit too much. He hasn't lost a baseball game yet, and he certainly is, not been consistent all year long, but there is some good in there. What Ty Floyd do you expect to see tonight, and what does he need to do to give LSU a chance?
Well, I mean, obviously he needs to leave the game after the fifth with the lead, and then at that point I'll be curious to see if they don't roll the dice and go Hurd potentially to come in and close or to finish it. But, look, I have the belief Ty Floyd has done his part. He's been good probably, 75% of the time, that he's going out there. He's giving you a good quality start, and that means 5 innings or more and 2 runs or less type stuff. And so I expect him to bounce back and get back on the horse. I mean, depending on the direction of that wind and how it's blowing, Ty Floyd in that big ballpark that will strike out or give up fly balls can do his thing. And the key for Ty Floyd is if he gives up a homer, don't give up a 2 or 3 run homer. Yeah. Don't walk anybody. Let them get their hits. Let them get a home run or 2. And, but go 6 2/3 and give up 2 runs. That's what we're hoping for. You can't expect Ty Floyd to be Paul Skeens. Can't expect Ty Floyd to do like he did at Ole Miss. That's not realistic. But give me 6 innings, 2 runs, and that right there should be enough for LSU to go get it.
What do you think would happen? Do you think it would be – because obviously, like Ronnie, and you know this, getting to Omaha, you have got to make sure that you have your pitching kind of set up, and you don't want to save anything, but you have to be smart about it. Do you think it would be Thatcher Hurd if he gets – let's say he goes 5 2/3, you got the lead, you got in some trouble. Does Thatcher Hurd come in immediately?
Here's what I'll say about that is I've waved the white flag on trying to figure out what Jay Johnson's going to do. Seriously, the Paul Skeens against Tulane on a Friday. Woo! I lost. That came out of nowhere. Yeah. There wasn't one person all week long other than Ron Swoboda. By the way, what a great name there. Ron Swoboda, the former Mason Met in 1969, who did TV and for decades down in New Orleans and does Tulane color analyst work for their ESPN Plus broadcast. Ron on Sports George Daily, a show that I do online, said, you know what? I think they're going to go with Skeens. And I was like, what? I thought Ron had drank, ate the wrong Wheaties that morning. He was the only person I heard all week that said anything about Paul Skeens pitching the first game, and that's what happened. So everybody else thought Hurd or Floyd, and we were having that debate. And Jay's kind of surprised me like that all year. So I think, though, he's a gambler, and I think I would not be stunned and shocked if Hurd came in there today and if he has a chance to win it.
What'd you think about Guidry coming in the other night? Now, 1 pitch gives up a 2-run homer, but having a freshman come into that spot. I don't know if that was going to be the only batter he faced regardless, but what'd you think about him coming in? Were you surprised by that?
No, I wasn't, and it was a righty and all that kind of stuff. And look, regardless of whether he's a freshman or not, he's one of your best pitchers.
Right.
He's going to have to come pitch again and do well. So it wasn't like they went down the line and said, well, give me pitcher number 11. Let's get him some experience. It was like, no, this is our closer. Yeah. And so, he threw the 1 spinner slider that didn't do much. It sat in the middle of the plate. A guy ran it out of there. I think he's going to have the short-term memory on that. I don't think that's that big of a deal. I expect he'll be fine when he gets back in there.
Hey, you were mentioning Ty Floyd earlier. I want to go back to that real quick because this is a ballpark, and we've talked about it over the last couple of weeks. It does play bigger, obviously. It's not your college matchbox ballpark where you get a fly ball up in the air and it has a chance to leave. Now, there was nothing cheap about the home runs we saw the other night, but Ty Floyd does get into trouble. He gave up the 3 home runs against Kentucky. Is this an advantage for him more than maybe even other pitchers because he does have a tendency to give up the long ball?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Look at the ball that Joe Bear hit triple, the dead center the other day. My God, that ball's out of every park in the SEC, and it's triple and Rosenblatt. So it's yes, absolutely. And again, it really just depends on. And I haven't looked at the weather to see what it's going to be tonight. But is it cool or is it warm? That changes the direction of where the wind blows. Now the ball is playing juicier this year in college baseball, and it's shown that even a little bit in Omaha. But if that wind is blowing in the right direction, that's a giant advantage for a guy like Ty Floyd.
Ronnie, if you would have you could have made it up. If you'd have been like, you know what, the wind's going to be 28 miles per hour coming due west, through center field. I would have been so impressed. I would have believed every word you said.
No, I'm not going to do that to you.
All right, before we let you go, Jumbo, kind of give us a prediction of how it has to play out for LSU, because I don't know that they've been an underdog. I'm sure we could go back and probably in an SEC game on the road, they're probably like a slight underdog. They're going to be an underdog tonight.
Yeah.
It's not a familiar territory for LSU, certainly this year. How does it need to play out for LSU to go get a victory?
Well, Floyd's got to go get them. Got to go get them 6. And look, what has to play out in my mind? I want them to win the national championship, which means they got to get to the championship finals, and they can't obviously burn too many guys. I mean, ideally, LSU's bats come alive, right? I mean, that's what they need to score a lot of runs, and then that way you don't have to use Hurd. But I am okay with them using Hurd, survive in advance. You got a day off tomorrow. And then if you do burn a Hurd and he can't, if he pitches today, then he's not going to start on Wednesday. I think you come back with Riley Cooper. I think that's what would probably happen for LSU. But ideally, you wouldn't use Hurd. You'd have a 3-4 run lead, and you go get somebody else first and try to figure it out the rest of the way. Just all staff the rest of the way. But the bats have to come alive. They did with Dugas, and they did with Joe Bear. And I thought everybody had good performance. Let's get Tommy White going, let him run a couple out, and then not even talk about Hurd pitching.
All right, there he is. Ronnie Rance, our guy. Jumbo, good enough to join us. He's got too many things going on for me to list them again. We don't have that kind of time. But, Jumbo, we appreciate your time as always, brother. Thanks for waking up early with us.
I mean, my pleasure. Going to go right back to bed. And listen, appreciate being on your show. And we're going to tell the people out there, reminder, tonight, 7 o'clock, the first place Baton Rouge Rougarou have a home game. So come on out tonight at Pete Goldsby Field. All
right, so they can watch the LSU baseball game on their phone and root on the Rougarou at the same time.
At the same, you can watch them on the phone. You can be there. We're going to give you a play-by-play. We might even have a big screen for you at the concession stand. I mean, just come on out, check it out. Rougarou, best value dollar in the whole city. I'd love to see the Hesters out there one game this year.
Hey, it'd be sold out. It'd be sold out if we just brought the Hesters.
Exactly. But I'm going to give you free tickets, Jacob. I just need you to buy some concessions.
Okay. Hey, that is fair. Hey, and Ronnie, if they want to find the schedule for the Rougarou, where do the people go?
brrougarou.com. brrougarou.com. All our home games are at 7 p.m.
All right. There he is, Ronnie Rance. Ronnie, we truly do appreciate you waking up with us.
Thank you, fellas.
All right. See you later. And when my man says he woke up 5 minutes before, we can guarantee you that is the truth. Maybe had to call a couple different times, but we appreciate Ronnie waking up with us again. That is not something that Ronnie likes to do very often. All right, we'll take a break, wrap up hour number 1 of OTB when we come back here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clash and chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch, on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
All right, let's say ah.
It's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap Tigers and Vols from Omaha and get you set for all of Monday's action at the College World Series. Join us 3 to 6, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. We appreciate Ronnie Rance for joining us. You know, I did a lot of radio with Ronnie, and one of my favorite things about Ronnie was it could be 6 to 8 p.m. radio. It could be 1 to 3. It could be 12 to 3, the old Hanging with Hester where he was a co-host. I would seem to get the same picture from Denham Springs of traffic in Denham Springs. And the picture, it looked very similar every single time. And then he'd send the picture from Denham Springs and about the traffic, and he'd be about like 7 minutes late. And I'm like, how did you get from there to here in just 7 minutes? It's pretty amazing. And Mario is a host of Sports Shorts Radio back in the day, and I think you've got the better story.
Yeah, so I was a young producer. This is maybe like my second week working here. Man straight up did not show up to his own show. It turns out he overslept. Apparently his alarms just didn't wake him up. Joel Davis, who's his co-host, had to go to his house and do like a wellness check, make sure he was alive, which thank God he was, but we had to play national ESPN that day.
Was he was just hibernating?
Yeah, he was just getting some R&R, I suppose.
Hey, you know what? There's only one Ronnie Rance, and we appreciate that one Ronnie Rance. Go out to the Rougarou game coming up this summer. It is a great deal for the family, and you might see T-Bob have a wrestling match with a Russian wrestler like he did a year ago. That's what you can get at the Baton Rouge Rougarou, along with some great baseball first-place team there as Ronnie mentioned. All right, coming up here to start hour number 2, we're going to have Chris Blair, voice of the LSU Tigers. We'll look back, we'll preview as well, and boots on the ground. He's obviously there in Omaha, kind of get a feel of what it's been like, the purple and gold. We'll update you on the Jell-O shot challenge. It hadn't been much of a challenge for LSU. We'll give you those numbers, all that coming up. Hour number 2 of OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Monday, June 19th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 98. Coming up on OTB, Chris Blair of the LSU Sports Radio Network joins the show up next. We have a new edition of Weekend Winners at 8:15, and we talk to Billy Embody at 8:30. Also, Connor O'Gara joins the show at 9 a.m. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 of OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Let's go to Omaha now, where we've got the voice of the LSU Tigers, Chris Blair, joining us. CB, what's going on? How you doing this morning?
Doing great, man. It is game day once again. Excited coming off of Saturday's win for Jay Johnson and the Tigers. Well, we got a marquee matchup tonight over at Charles Schwab with Wake Forest and the Tigers.
Absolutely, and we're all looking forward to that one. I think it's a matchup that everyone's been looking forward to, not just LSU fans, Wake Forest fans, for kind of a long time, CB. I mean, when you look at it, very unique year as far as you've only had 2 teams ranked number 1 in the country. It's LSU for a majority of the year, and then Wake Forest kind of I think they took over May 8th, and they never gave it back. I mean, you're talking about the 2 top teams, in my opinion, in all of college baseball this year, even though maybe the little numbers next to their names don't say so right now. So it is a matchup that we're all looking forward to, and we'll get there, but I definitely want to go back. I mean, obviously, electric ballpark the other night. LSU fans showed up. I don't want to ask you that because you've seen LSU in Omaha before. Does this year feel a little bit different compared to 2017?
You know, it does a little bit. We were talking about it in the booth. Obviously a massive stadium. There were over 25,000 people there on Saturday. And while there are certain ticket sections that are LSU, it's kind of hard because there's so many people who live here in Omaha and live, just outside the city here that come and enjoy these games. So you don't always have easy to detect. You see the shirts, you see the colors, but you could hear it. And, it was amazing. And I think, Paul Skeens talked about it after the game, like playing at Alec Box, especially last Saturday in his final game there in the Supers against Kentucky. I mean, it was electric. It's everything you hear about Alec Box. It's everything that you expect. And I think Paul Skeens, took all of that in. But he said this Saturday that it was pretty special when he left the mound, that place erupted. Yeah. And so you could feel the presence were there. And I think the fact that, it's been 6 years and it's been a long time coming for a fan base that, they every year, kind of circle these 2 weeks and make plans to get up here to Nebraska. And the fact that, again, it's interesting, Jacob, because you're not surprised you're here, although it's not easy to get here. And so I think fans felt like all season long, there's a good shot we're going, so let's make plans. Let's don't set up anything. No major business meetings, no family vacations anywhere else. We have to keep those 2 weeks open. And, we got here with the team on Wednesday. You saw a wave of Tiger fans show up on Wednesday night. Then Thursday, a few more. Then on Friday, it was purple and gold everywhere. And then, as we talked about on the radio, coming over to the ballpark, walking over to the ballpark on Saturday, it looked to be about 5-1 LSU to any other fan base we saw. So, yeah, I think they were hungry for it, and I think they're taking advantage of it.
No family vacations planned unless you're T-Bob Hebert is what you're telling me.
Yes, exactly. That's right. I was stunned to see that on social media earlier this week.
Oh, CB, you look back at the game against Tennessee and so many big moments, and you want to go to them because I feel like we've talked about Paul Skeens so much this year, but you have to talk about Paul Skeens this much because of what he's been able to do. And I don't remember ever being as confident as I was. Like, forget the radio host part. I mean, just an LSU baseball fan my entire life. I just don't remember feeling as confident that, okay, he's going to do what he's supposed to do. All right, who's going to step up outside of him? Because you know he's going to do exactly what he did. And you just don't get that feeling very often in sports. Now, here in Baton Rouge, we've kind of been spoiled because 2019 LSU football, Joe Burrow, same situation. All right, that guy's going to do what he has to do to win. Can everybody else step up? And certainly that team did, and this team did as well. And so it's like it's that confidence feeling that you have that's just you don't get it very often in sports.
No, you don't. And, when Paul's on the mound, like leading up to the game, and even while the game's going on, and you see what he's doing, and, he's dominating. He's not throwing a fastball under 99 miles an hour. He's averaging, right at 100 miles an hour, especially early on. You still kind of pinch yourself and go, wait a minute. I mean, like, this is a Tennessee team that is very good, and one mistake pitch, and they can put it, out of here. And so you have to kind of keep reminding yourself of that because he is that good and has been that consistent all season long every time he goes out on the mound. And, about midway through the year, you start hearing people talk about, I think this guy could pitch in a major league ballpark right now. Well, it was evident to everybody, all 25,000 plus at the ballpark and everybody that was watching. I mean, that was the word that I heard in the hotel lobby. It's the word I've heard in restaurants is like, this guy's elite Major League Baseball pitcher right now. I mean, when you look at his numbers and you look at the velocity, I mean, there's not a lot of guys doing what he's doing. So, yeah, you kind of feel like when he's out there, literally 4 to 5, 6 runs will do it. And even against a talented team like Tennessee, 6 runs was the number on Saturday.
God, it almost felt like when they got the second run, it was going to be enough. And I know it got a little hairy late, but hey, our guy, the bad body guy, Riley Cooper comes in, shuts the door. I mean, how about his postseason as well, CB? I mean, Guidry comes in, 1 pitch, 2-run homer. It's like, man, you've got some studs coming up in that Tennessee lineup. But Cooper, in his 12 and a third, he's pitched so far this postseason, only giving up 2 earned runs. And I don't know that there's a player that Jay trusts more. Now, obviously, when you throw Skeens out there, but he's led Jay's team in appearances the last 3 years. I mean, that's the guy that he's going to go to, and then he steps up and then strikes out some really good players in key moments there to end the game.
Well, there's a reason. There's one Tiger that's played here in Omaha, and he did it with Jay Johnson at Arizona before following Coach to Baton Rouge. But there's no doubt, probably outside of Paul Skeens, as far as the trust factor goes, Coach Johnson has it in Riley. And, I mentioned to you earlier in the week that, the trip to Hoover is special for LSU fans because of the success they've had there for a long, long time. But Jay Johnson doesn't do anything that affects getting ready or trying to get his team to Omaha. And what I thought coming away with a 1-2 record in Hoover was the fact that Riley Cooper and Nate Ackenhausen and Thatcher Hurd kind of made us all feel better going into the real postseason and NCAA play because, like you mentioned, 3/4 of the year, LSU is the top team in the country. And then that last month of the regular season, you were starting to wonder, do they have the pitching staff to make a run, outside of Paul Skeens and really Ty Floyd, who's that third starter. And you saw the team kind of just let leads slip away, all due to the bullpen. And so I think coming away from Hoover, even though you were 1-2, as I told you, I think Jay Johnson was smiling a little bit, thinking, I went to Hoover and got what I needed, which is finding some more solid pitching. And Riley was the guy he trusted last year to eat up innings. And, again, Gavin Guidry, big stage, kid's going to have an incredible career. Yeah. Made the one mistake pitch. And as I said, Tennessee's got the power, especially in that lineup, to make you pay. And then immediately Jay Johnson's like, nope. Here comes Riley. Give me Riley, and a great performance.
Catching up with Chris Blair, the voice of the LSU Tigers here on OTB. All right, let's talk about tonight's game. Obviously, Wake Forest has been really good all season long. I mean, they have been a team that is right up there with home runs with LSU. We know what they can do as far as on the mound. Their team ERA is ridiculous. They don't give up a lot of hits. This is a complete baseball team, and so you need your guys to continue to step up, and you've had that all season, all postseason long, but none feels more important, obviously, than Ty Floyd tonight, CB.
No, I've said it for a long time. I've been the president of the Ty Floyd fan club, and as much as I love Paul Skeens and as incredible as Paul is, I think Ty just naturally gets overshadowed for what he has done this year. I mean, he's had some tough luck non-decisions, but he is undefeated. And, most of the year, outside of a couple of outings, I mean, he's pitched well enough for LSU to win every time he's on the mound. Yeah. And, again, Jay Johnson trusts him. I think when you go into a weekend, whether it's a 3-game series or it's a NCAA tournament type pairing, Jay Johnson told me a month ago on his last radio show when I asked about shuffling LSU starting lineup the way every team in the SEC down the stretch was doing. And, his answer was, well, you still got to win 2 out of 3 to win the series, whether you win it Friday and Sunday or Saturday and Sunday. And then secondly, I tell our guys that every time we go to play, we're going to win. And he said, I'm speaking out of both sides of my mouth if I start shuffling with the rotation that has been so good for us. So when people ask me, who do you think is going to pitch game 2, I don't have the answer. I just go back to what he said. And for me, that's why I expect Ty Floyd. And I think Ty Floyd has the ability to go out and pitch against a very good Wake Forest team. And LSU has the confidence behind him. And I think that is key. And Jay also said, and he's right about this, no disrespect to the ACC, no disrespect to the Demon Deacons, but there's not a team, a situation, or a battle that will happen here in Omaha that LSU hasn't handled already. And that's why I like the Tigers.
If Ty Floyd is 6 innings through, you've got a 2-run lead, how do you think Jay Johnson would handle that? Would we see Thatcher Hurd? Would we see maybe Riley Cooper again? How do you think he'll handle that situation?
Gosh, I think he feels pretty confident with both Ackenhausen and Herring, and you're looking at 2 left-handers there. And again, he's all about matchups, so it's not as if he would just go to a left-hander and say, let it ride. That's possible. But I just keep thinking, you want Thatcher to pitch, and he didn't last weekend against Kentucky in the Supers, although he was up and throwing at one point late in that game. I just think you kind of feel like he's a guy that you can count to give you a start. And I don't know at this point if you go ahead and especially if LSU is in good shape after 6 innings and Ty Floyd does the job that I think he can do. But again, you get limited now with right-handed relievers. And again, I don't know how much you can use Riley Cooper in back-to-back games. I think it's possible. But I don't know. It's an interesting question, and I think we'll have to wait and see.
All right, CB, last question before we let you go. Anytime we had a primetime game in the NFL and we were on the road, it was like, what do I do all day long? I've got to fill some time. I can't sit here in the hotel room. I'll drive myself crazy thinking about the game tonight. So what's on the docket for Chris Blair in Omaha today?
I'm going to walk all the way to Iowa here in just a little bit. I've done it. I did it on Saturday, and I'm going to do it again. Not that I'm superstitious, but I'm just routine-oriented, as I've been told.
Yeah.
So they got a great little area here that they built, kind of a river walk that's along the river that's just across the river from Council Bluffs, Iowa. So just going to walk into Iowa for a couple of minutes and come back, which is nice because I got to scratch off Iowa as a state that I had never been to before. So I'm going to do it again today and then grab a little lunch. And, again, right now the weather looks beautiful. It's going to be a little hotter today, which, again, I don't think is going to bother LSU at all. But, make my way to the ballpark around 3:30 or so and get ready for the Demon Deacons and the Fighting Tigers.
All right, there he is, Chris Blair, the voice of the LSU Tigers. You can follow Chris on Twitter at LSU Tigers Voice. CB, we appreciate your time. Enjoy the call tonight.
You got it. Thank you, Jacob. See you guys.
All right. By the way, we also have my guy, Devin Snow, 9:15 for Spread Lines. We think T-Bob is going to join us at 9:30. He said he is currently charging his phone so he can do it. So we'll see if T-Bob's phone gets enough charge by 9:30 for him to join us, because he said he wants to get these takes off. And so we'll take a break. When we come back, it's 8:15 on a Monday morning. So, of course, weekend winners here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, watching the games in Omaha, you probably saw members of the G team, kind of come up big, and that's what you're going to see from the G team. Go to the website, getgordon.com. Once you go to getgordon.com, you'll see live agents going to pop up. So you can have a chat with a live agent right there on the website. So maybe you're already at work. Maybe you can't get to the phones, but you've been waiting over the weekend. You have a question. You want to maybe set up a phone call. We can do that all on the website there. Again, getgordon.com. You know the number. So anywhere in the state of Louisiana, if you're listening to us up in Shreveport, Alexandria, New Orleans, it doesn't matter. Just put that area code before the 8s. So 225-888-8888, 318-504, whatever it might be throughout the state of Louisiana, they can help you as well. On social media, the handle @GetGordon. So many different ways to find out the information, get in contact with them. Get in contact today, getgordon.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Bayou Ford has up to $7,000 off MSRP plus 0% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day.
Jimmy Ott, Charles Hannegriff. It's live at lunch from the Ameristar Sportsbook. The Monday edition is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 at ocbrown.com. Monday, live at lunch from Ameristar in Omaha, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back in. Monday edition here of OTB. It's Monday. It's the second segment, so it is time for Weekend Winners.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do. What's that? Win the whole thing.
All right, Weekend Winners. Let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. And I would assume all three of us would probably have this, but it is the Rocco's Jello Shot Challenge. A quick update here on the board. You've got the Florida Gators, who have a little bit over 1,600. You've got TCU right at 3,000. Nice showing by TCU. Wake Forest right at 4,700. Virginia 566. What do you even do? Oh, well, you're going home. That's what you're doing. You lost. And so I guess there's not going to be any added to this tally. But come on, you got to do better than 566. Shout out to Oral Roberts, though. Almost 2,500. We were, kind of putting them in last place before this thing started. So congrats to them. Stanford, 616. No surprise there. Come on. Maybe the most embarrassing, Tennessee. A little over 1,400. You're an SEC school. Act like it. LSU, 11,948. So by far the champion, just like we knew LSU and LSU fans would be there at Rocco. So no real surprises, but Tennessee, I'm going to need you to act like an SEC school.
How very predictable. Yeah, the Rocco's people are the true winners. They're rolling.
Yeah. And they donate a portion of it to charity as well.
That's awesome. Yeah. And either way, they're rolling in it. Money, publicity, like this competition is a great idea for them. And shout out to the LSU fans. I'm going to go weekend loser for my first entry here, and I'm going to mention the Wizards. They made a trade over the weekend. Bradley Beal going to the Phoenix Suns for a package that's supposed to include Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, and several second-round picks, a pick swap too. This trade hasn't been finalized yet because the Suns are looking for a third team to include in the deal so Chris Paul can go to a contending team. If they can't find a third team, Chris Paul will probably be bought out by the Wizards. And I just feel like they're coming away with very little here. I feel like they probably should have traded Bradley Beal sometime in the last 2 years. This is a classic case of maybe waiting a little too late. Like, if you're trading a player to the caliber of Bradley Beal, 3-time All-Star, you should at least get like a starter caliber player back. They're not even getting that. So weekend loser is the Washington Wizards. The Suns have an interesting future now. They kind of tore it all down.
Yeah, I mean, the roster has like 5 players. Could you add the Pelicans, give up Kyrie Lewis and a draft choice?
Why not?
Sure.
I'd be down. I don't know if CP3 would be.
Yeah, well, that's okay. He'd rather go to the Wizards than get bought out and go join the Lakers. It's going to be the Lakers.
Yeah, the Clippers have been mentioned too on the streets.
Well, he's been there before, but one of the two. Taylor, weekend winner.
Yeah, I'm going to go all the dads out there, the Father's Day weekend. It was a great Father's Day for us. I mentioned, we took a little weekend trip, about an hour and a half drive to Bay St. Louis. Had never been before, but, we relaxing trip, rented a house on the bay. I'm sure everybody else did things as well. You got to watch a lot of baseball this weekend as well. So weekend winners, all the dads out there.
All right, like that one. Gosh, I wish I was a dad one time over already by today. Like, baby girl just sitting up there and just enjoying herself there. So any day now, like if you don't see me here and you see Mario, it's because we had baby number 5 who's supposed to be here any day now. I'm going to go weekend loser here, and it's probably the first time, maybe the only time you'll hear me say that about the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves are, growing up, it was whatever team I was playing for and then the Braves. Like that was like my fandom. I loved the Atlanta Braves, still do. But I got to throw him a weekend loser here, and here's why. Yesterday, the Braves recalled Chadwick Tromp, catcher, to Atlanta and designated infielder Charlie Culbertson for assignment. I think Charlie Culbertson's a fan favorite. He's been there a couple of different times. He's had big moments in a Braves uniform. It happens, okay. And look, I've been released twice. I know how that feels. But here's why it's a weekend loser. Charlie Culbertson's dad was scheduled to throw today's first pitch. That was yesterday for Father's Day. His dad was ready to go. The family was excited. They had numerous amounts of family members because Charlie's dad was going to be able to go out there, toe the rubber in Truist Park, and throw out the first pitch. And they released him the day that the first pitch was supposed to be scheduled. So Michael Harris, his dad actually filled in. So first pitch doesn't get done. Probably something he's dreamt of his entire life. Weekend loser, Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, a lot of these promotions for these pro sports teams can really blow up in their face. Like, I remember when I was working for the Pelicans, they had Nikola Mirotic bobblehead night, and he got traded. So my buddy there had all these Nikola Mirotic bobbleheads and didn't know what to do with them.
Well, think about how bad Culberson probably screwed up. I mean, he must have really pissed them off to be like, we know your dad's scheduled to throw out the first pitch. You got to go, bud.
Yeah, and like I said, he was a part of the World Series. Like, he's been there a couple of different times. Like, you can tell they value him and they bring him in because he's versatile, and it doesn't matter, man. It's just another example of pro sports is a cruel, cruel world. And they needed an extra catcher, and they called one up.
Well said. My next weekend winner is Wyndham Clark. His name kind of sounds like a hotel, but he won the U.S. Open yesterday. Don't know very much about golf, but I know he was kind of an underdog. Last year, he was ranked 293rd in the official world golf ranking, and he never finished better than 75th in a major championship. So that's crazy pressure for somebody who that's kind of their first time on that stage. So shout out Wyndham Clark for winning the U.S. Open.
I love that. My weekend loser ties directly into this. Okay. And I hate to do this because I'm a Ricky Fowler fan, but I got to give a weekend loser to Ricky Fowler. Your guy, Wyndham Clark, he won the U.S. Open with a 10 under. Yesterday, Ricky Fowler entered the final round as the leader at 10 under. He shot a +5 in round 4, wound up finishing tied for 5th with a -5 throughout 4 rounds, shooting a +5 in the final round of the tournament when you have a 2-shot lead. Weekend loser, Ricky Fowler.
Ooh, a lot of the dads at indoor soccer were watching that. I was watching Guatemala and Venezuela on my phone, but it's okay. Like, a lot of dads were huddled around the TV watching that during indoor soccer yesterday. So I back you up. It was a cool little story, even though a lot of people were mad maybe that Roy McIlroy was getting almost like biased, like the announcers were like pulling for him to win. He was I didn't watch it. So I was reading
something. Fowler was still in the lead, and Clark and McIlroy were tied for second. McIlroy was the betting favorite in Vegas to win the tournament while being tied for second. So, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, again, that's got to be insane pressure. Like, imagine you're trying to win a tournament. You never finished higher than 75th, and you're directly competing with, like, McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Ricky Fowler, some of, like, the big names in the sport. That's crazy composure there about Clark to win the whole tournament.
All right, I'm going to go weekend loser here, and I got my phone out because I need to read this word for word. So this is not me. This is Jack Jones, Patriots player, Jack Jones. And when John Morant was going through all of his stuff with, flashing weapons, he took to Twitter. Jack Jones did. Again, Patriots player. And he mentions at John Morant, dumb. You're letting social media and your pride ruin your real money. Put them guns down and run that money up. Make one of your homies sign up for security or concealed carry if you feel like you need it that bad. But you're the breadwinner. You got to start acting like it. Okay, good message. Like, great message. But the thing is, Jack Jones was arrested Friday after 2 guns were found in his luggage at the security checkpoint at Boston's Logan Airport. Ooh, that's a practice what you preach type situation. I like the message. The message is good. But you got to practice what you preach there. So weekend loser until we get this figured out.
Life comes at you fast. And for what it's worth, I thought the suspension for John Morant was fair. I mean, 25 games is significant. I know it's not half the season. A lot of people thought it should be worse. And I understand why you would feel that way. Like, he showed some serious ignorance throughout this whole process, in my opinion. But that's still a quarter of the season. And now he's going to be ineligible for some of these awards, like All-NBA, MVP, stuff that can affect his pockets down the road, when it comes to contract extension. Yeah. So I think the punishment for John Morant technically didn't commit a crime. A video came out that showed that the gun that he was using in both the posts was a toy gun. So it's not nothing, and I think it's a fair punishment for Ja.
All right. Anybody more weekend winners or losers?
I think I'm good on that front.
All right, my last one. There was a Florida Little League baseball tournament, and apparently they tried everything they could, but the weather was not helping them out, right? It just was not letting them play this baseball tournament, and apparently it was high stakes. And so what did they do in Florida? Well, the parents went home. A number of Florida Little League parents went home and were tired of getting rained out, so they brought their airboats to the baseball field, turned on the airboats, and dried the baseball field so they could play the rest of their youth baseball tournament. I have seen a lot of dads, and I would do this too. I'm not throwing shade. A lot of dads do whatever they can to make sure the game gets played. I have never heard of someone going home, getting their group of airboats, and drying off the field that way. You got to respect it.
That's awesome. Louisiana version of ball is life right there.
Maybe the NCAA needs to invest in something like that. Hire them as a grounds crew or something. They've had issues in the tournament.
We could certainly get some airboats here in Louisiana to dry off the field. So that is a weekend winner. All right, we are going to take a break. Obviously, we're baseball heavy here today, but we'll go away just for a little bit before we come back. LSU on the football recruiting trail has been hot. They have gotten a ton of commits as of late. Billy Embody of On3 is going to join us to break down who the Tigers got on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org. There you'll see exactly what I tell you about every single day. If you're looking to remodel, all you got to do is go to the homepage of centralplumbing.org, click on that, and you'll see what they can do for you. They'll come out, they'll give you a consultation. It can be at your house. Maybe you just want to redo your main bathroom. Maybe it's the guest bathroom. Whatever it is, they can certainly handle it. Also at work, though, like if you own a business and you have a large facility, you'll see on the homepage of centralplumbing.org, the fleet is ready to go. They got vehicles ready, and there's not going to be a job that's too big for them. So make sure that they are the place you call, 225-925-8552 for that remodel. Also ask them about the tankless water heater that we tell you about every single day. You never run out. Right? We just had Father's Day. Dads, you know what I'm going to talk about. You get home late from the ball field. You got to do the dishes. You got to do the laundry. You got to take showers before you go to bed. Well, don't worry about it if you go tankless with a tankless water heater, centralplumbing.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. I think we're rocking and rolling.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
Hannegriff, our Omaha home for the College World Series is the Ameristar Casino and Hotel in Council Bluffs, Iowa, just minutes away from downtown Omaha. Enjoy the only casino buffet in the area and a full sports book. Eat, watch, and bet at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel.
I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that place. Even your emotions have an echo in so much space. And when you're out there without care, yeah, I was out of touch.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. As I mentioned, obviously we're baseball heavy with the Tigers in Omaha about to face off with Wake Forest tonight. We do take a step away because there's a lot of news coming out of the LSU football program, and it's in recruiting. And so nobody better than Billy Embody on 3 Sports, at Billy Embody on Twitter, who joins us now. Billy, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. How about you?
Doing great. And as I mentioned, like every time that I, open up Twitter, I feel like I'm seeing you or Shay, break a commitment from an LSU prospect. It seems like they normally when we have you on, Billy, it's because you got a commitment and we're here to talk about the commitment. But since the last time we caught up with you, I feel like every single day there's been a commitment. So, I mean, this staff has been on a heater, and it feels like, Billy, like they really kind of value that camp experience as well. And it's something that doesn't just, it's not just fluff to them. Like they want you to come to camp, compete, and then you're starting to see scholarship offers and commitments off that camp.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the best time of year. And to see guys, especially those from Louisiana, that come out and earn that offer from LSU, and you get to watch them get it in person, and the emotion that really, comes over them most of the time is pretty special. Kylan Billiot, the Terrebonne wide receiver who committed earlier this month, earned his offer at camp and really left them no decision. He's about 6'3". He ran a laser 4.59, which is pretty moving, actually, and for a guy his size. And he competed at the elite camp and had a really, really good day. And then at the 7-on-7 tournament, he just was dominant. And so they were left with no choice but to offer him. Sometimes you want to be careful that you don't offer a kid and then maybe say, oh, well, we should have evaluated him a little longer, things like that. Billiot is a guy that they really felt good about after his camp, and they made the move on him and got him on board. And I think he's going to really surprise someone. I think he's got a really high ceiling with his frame, and he's only just really starting to scratch the surface. He's a basketball player, too, and a really good one at that. So I'm excited to see how he develops, and he's just kind of the latest camp example as far as a guy that they got committed out of that.
Now, Billy, this might not be the case, but it feels like this staff has a different way of recruiting than maybe the previous staffs. It feels like if they see someone that they want, they don't really care necessarily what the stars are or where their ranking is. Like it's a big eye test type situation. I could be wrong. Like you could tell me, no, it's kind of the same, but it just feels like they go out there, and Michael Turner from John Curtis just got an offer as well. It's like they see the guy, they're like, okay, that guy can play for us, offer him. And it's just like on the spot. Is that like the way you feel? Am I reading too much into that?
No, I think so. And they're pretty particular about who they go after. And I feel like as a whole, they don't waste much time with prospects that, maybe, and this isn't a knock on previous staff because, you're just trying your best to get the best players, but there are guys that, you used to be able to kind of see coming from a mile away that they just weren't going to end up at LSU, but the official, they take a ton of visits and, they go down that road. Brian Kelly and his staff really seem to have a little bit more of a better feel on who they're not wasting time with. And so that their board seems a little bit more tighter to me. And when they do get the chance to offer a guy like a Michael Turner or Kylan Billiot and even Andre Evans, who they had offered earlier in the month, and then he came to camp, and that's when LSU was like, all right, we are all in on him. And he was a great fit. He was a guy that camped before, but they weren't necessarily ready to make the move and offer him. But, for us at On3, he's a top 100 prospect, and I think he's only going to continue to rise. But he's a great fit with what Brian Kelly wants to do from a character perspective, from just his mindset, mentality, and he's a heck of a football player. I mean, 4'4", got the size, got plus length at the corner position. And they really turned the heat up on him and got him on board. And he had just picked up Alabama and Georgia offers. He had official visits to NC State and Michigan set, but instead he shut things down and got on board with LSU. So that's just kind of a big example of where they really trusted their evaluation on him and moved quickly. And with Michael Turner, I was there when they offered him. He just showed his impressive twitch. He also is one of the fastest guys in the state. He's got a 10.59. He ran. They did rolling 40s, so he ran a 4.2 in that setting, which kind of equates to like a 4.4.
Yeah.
But he was just so elite in terms of his speed, twitch, that they, made a move on him, and he's about 147, 150 pounds, but he's about 6 foot, and they just didn't want to see him go elsewhere, use that elite speed, and make them regret not making the move on him. So those guys that have elite traits in certain pieces of their game, they move on, and that's what I've seen from them is they really try to hone in on guys that have traits at particular spots and can do different things for them. Like if you look at their secondary board, it's a bunch of guys that can do kind of different things and are versatile. And I think that's just one of the examples, positionally, that they kind of hone in on is finding guys that fit different packages for Matt House's defense. So I like the way they recruit, and I tell you what, this coming weekend is a massive weekend for how this 2024 class is going to look too.
Now, Billy, one of the things that a lot of people were asking when Brian Kelly was hired, could he recruit Louisiana? And then you had that weird situation last year. I say weird. I mean, it's kind of unique, whatever you want to call it, where there were some guys that they weren't coming to LSU. It didn't really matter who the coach was. I mean, you had some U-High guys who decided they wanted to go elsewhere. You had a Tackett Curtis who you felt like you were so far behind, it doesn't really matter who came in. And look, we all know the storylines, but there was, Arch Manning. He was never coming to LSU, and some people are like, okay, well, now I'm a little nervous. And you look up this year, and Brian Kelly and the staff, if the guy's not committed to them, it's still an LSU lean in the top 10 on on3.com. So everyone in Louisiana in the top 10 is either committed or a LSU lean. It feels like that question has been answered.
Yeah, I agree. And look, I think the guys that they have gotten on board, especially, I mean, you look at the top 10, I mean, it is, like you said, littered with, commitments now and guys that are leaning to LSU, but also they're really good players, especially I think the top 6 for us on the rankings are really going to be good football players at the next level. You look at Tradez Green, Joel Rogers, Deshaun McBride, who had a great camp. Juwan Johnson really impressed over the weekend at the final elite camp when they camped inside Tiger Stadium Friday night. And then Wardell Mack and Dominic McKinley are the top 2 players in the state and are uncommitted. And you got to like LSU's chances for both of those guys in the end. And, McKinley is going to be a battle. Mack is a battle, but both those guys are really elite prospects that they're sitting pretty for. And, yeah, last year was weird. It was just one of those things. But this year is really showing the staff's connections in the state. Frank Wilson's doing a great job leading that, especially in Joe Sloan and guys that have been in the state before, and it's paying off for them. And they're doing a nice job evaluating some guys late in the process too, like a Michael Turner, Kylan Billiot, and guys like that to try and fit them in the class too.
Catching up with Billy Embody on 3 Sports here on OTB. Billy, T-Bob and I were actually helping out on an official visit a couple weeks ago. All 3 guys were from places outside the state of Louisiana. So what are some guys outside of the state that LSU, have had maybe official visits with? Maybe you think, LSU has a real opportunity to go out there and get their signature coming up on signing day.
Yeah, a couple that I'll highlight were from this weekend, and both from Georgia. C.J. Jackson, the 4-star top 100 edge for us, who is going to head to Georgia this upcoming weekend. He's got Alabama, who brought him in for an official visit. Oklahoma brought him in. And then Jalen Crawford, a corner out of Georgia as well, is another 4-star prospect that LSU is really battling for. And he had a great visit. And to help with them, JoJo Stone, who was a guy that maybe entering the month you kind of thought he might go elsewhere, but he shuts down his recruitment and he comes back and helps recruit this past weekend with those guys. And I think it really made an impact. And then Corey Williams is out of San Marcos, Texas. He's 6'7", 285, 290. He's really how you draw up a prototypical left tackle, but he's also a nice developmental prospect. He wouldn't have to play right away if he got to LSU with just the way they've recruited tackle the last couple cycles. And he has LSU at the top of his list. He's planning to announce during his senior season, and from everything he's told me and what we've heard on our side of things too, it would be surprising at this point if LSU didn't get him. Now this upcoming weekend is massive. You have a bunch of guys coming in that LSU is really trying to get on board, and one of those is Jelani Watkins, who's a speedy slot receiver from the Houston area. You've got Kai Bates, who's I think going to end up a top 100 corner on the rankings when they're all said and done, out of Orlando, who LSU's done a really nice job recruiting. And then one more, a sleeper in a sense, because he just doesn't say much on his recruitment, but Ethan Callaway out of North Carolina is a 4-star offensive tackle who a lot of people are feeling confident on LSU's chances for as well. So this upcoming weekend, they've got 10 guys, I believe, coming in for an official visit. And so this is one of those weekends where it's going to be all hands on deck and a chance for LSU to really stake their claim to, one of the top classes if they can come away with a few guys out of it.
Hey, last one, Billy, before we let you go, and we always appreciate your time. Colin Hurley, the LSU quarterback commit, was just with a group of some of the top quarterbacks in the country. How did he fare?
Yeah, he finished up in our rankings as the number 7 quarterback in the Elite 11. And for those that don't know, it's not just 11, it's 20 quarterbacks that end up. So for Colin to go out there and perform the way he did as the youngest, what we believe is the youngest quarterback to ever go through the Elite 11 finals is really impressive. He's got that arm strength. He had a really good 7-on-7 pro day during it. He was very efficient. I think he finished 13 of 17, had 4 touchdowns, no picks. So, I mean, he's got the arm talent. He's got definitely the work ethic and mentality, especially for somebody so young, to be a really, really good quarterback at the next level. And in that setting, he shined and showed why he's had a really good offseason in the camp and 7-on-7 circuit.
All right, follow Billy Embody on Twitter. At Billy Embody is the handle there. At Bengal Tiger on 3 is also the site. They do a fantastic job there. And I'm a little disappointed, Billy, on your Twitter profile. I saw hashtag Go Bolts with a lightning bolt, and I thought it was the Chargers, but it looks like no, it is the Lightning, the hockey team.
Yes. Trust me, I wouldn't do you like that. It's all lightning, lightning.
Well, there's 2 Charger fans in the state of Louisiana, me and my oldest son. I thought maybe we had a third, but it's okay. It's okay. The work you do will allow it. Billy, we appreciate your time, brother.
Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, we've got Connor O'Gara set to join us in 12 minutes. We've got Dev Snow at 9:15, and we think if the phone is charged up by that time, we'll have T-Bob Hebert at 9:30. So we still have a lot to get to. We'll wrap up hour number 2 when we come back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, go to All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.com. There you can find the new, you can find where you can check out the leasing options, and you can certainly find those rentals that we tell you about every single day. But if you're buying new, go to the website because you can customize your vehicle. No matter what you want to do to the Tundra, the Tacoma, the Sienna, the Highlander, the Camry, the 4Runner, whatever it might be, you can get it done. Right? You can stand out like T-Bob does with a Murdered Out Mini. Other day, I'm pulling out, I see the Murdered Out Mini because there's only one in Baton Rouge. Does it hit an illegal U-turn? Maybe it does, but you know what? It stood out. It looked great while I was doing the illegal U-turn. I was like, okay, there's Bobby. if you want to go, all white with black tires and rims and have the Stormtrooper look, whatever you want to do, you can get that done. You can do it at the dealership. You can do it online. Check out those new vehicles on the website, allstartoyota.batonrouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all.
Hey, it's Hunt. Join me for a Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I'll either be previewing LSU's big-time matchup Monday night or talking when nobody's listening because you're watching the game. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 Monday, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. As I've kind of laid out, we still have a bunch to get to here today. A lot of people asking about T-Bob's phone charger. T-Bone might be like a good nickname for T-Bob. Yeah, I don't know. That's what, Mario, can you back me up here? That's what he said. It's not me. Everybody's like, he's got the slowest phone charger in America. How's his phone already dead? I don't know what T-Bob does with his phone, right? I mean, T-Bob does almost everything right. The only thing he doesn't do right is get back to you and handle phone situations.
Yeah, he's a total enigma. Like, I'll send something in the group, like a news article or something popping off, and T-Bob will send the very same link in the very next text message.
Like 7 minutes later.
It's unreal.
What was great, we were talking this morning about all the guests. You were like, oh, we have Chris Blair at 8, 8:30, whatever. Then T-Bob responds, how about I come on at 8?
Like minutes later, right under that message, after like, hey, we've got Chris Blair at 8. How about 8 o'clock?
Come on, man.
I don't, Now, I will say this. I'll back him up. He's my boy, foxhole guy. You know, I want to throw too much shade. He does text a lot on his computer. I don't know the phone situation, but I know he has one of these, which is an Apple Watch. So I know it alerts him. But he's the one, look, he wanted to get takes off. He's on vacation. He does not have to come on today's show. But when you put out a heater like he did with his pregame speech, pregame hype video, whatever you want to call it. By the way, we probably need to edit a couple of those and play that. It was well done. First take. He was one take Jake, except he was one take Bob on that. So well done. We'll see if we can get that played. But when we come back to kick off hour number 3, we're talking SEC football with Connor O'Gara of Saturday Down South.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, patientplusuc.com is the website, right? They are convenient for you during an inconvenient time. I know they have been for me, and they will be for you as well. A lot of different ways are going to be convenient. One of the conveniences is there's going to be a location that is near you in the Baton Rouge area. So no matter where you're at located here in the capital city, you look it up, there's going to be one that is convenient for you. And look, things like stitches, and I've got 4 boys. I understand that world. They happen, and they're going to happen at a random time. And they're going to happen probably when it's the most inconvenient time for you. So that's why Patient Plus is there to try to help out in situations like that. Remember, you can always schedule your appointment online at patientplusuc.com. You can go ahead, fill out everything, and so you're in, you're out. That is another convenience, but you don't have to. Walk-ins are always welcome as well. So they try to make it as easy as possible for you. They've done it for me. Again, they'll do it for you as well. patientplusuc.com. Get in and get better.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $25,000 off new 22 Ram 1500 SCA trucks and incredible deals on all remaining 2022 inventory. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Monday, June 19th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 98. Coming up on OTBOT, Connor O'Gara joins the show up next. We have a new edition of Spread Lines with Hold the Mayo at 9:15, and T-Bob maybe joins the show. We'll see. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTBOT, live from the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3 of OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, and we're going to kick off hour number 3 with my guy Connor O'Gara. Saturday Down South joins us now, and yesterday got to celebrate his first Father's Day. So, Connor, my man, congratulations, and how was the first Father's Day for you?
Hey, man, yeah, very happy to be able to join the club of all the dads out there. I know you've been a member for a hot minute now, but yeah, I mean, I didn't really feel totally worthy of a holiday after being a dad for less than 3 weeks. But you know, I mowed the grass, I did my dad activities, and it was a nice little day.
Did you wear Nike Air Monarchs while you mowed the grass?
Something very similar to that.
Okay.
Yes. You have to have your yard shoes. If you don't have your yard shoes, and you're a dad, I don't know if you can really count yourself a dad. We had those busted out yesterday morning.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, if you want to integrate yourself in the dad mode, like, you got to have some Nike Air Monarchs. But if you have yard shoes in general, that will at least make up for it. So, hey, a lot of things happen since you've worked. Obviously, like, you got baby girl coming. You're going to take a couple of weeks off, which you absolutely should. Now coming back, I think this is the first interview, by the way, since you've been back, right?
It is,
okay,
man.
I feel pretty good about that.
I've told everybody else, like, hey, I've got a loaded morning, but I've always got to make time for my guys at off the bench.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And over the last couple of weeks, there's been some things happen in the SEC. I mean, the 2024 schedule obviously was released. And even though you weren't doing interviews, I know that you probably were eye-hustling that schedule. So initial thoughts whenever you saw the release?
Yeah, I'm pretty amazed at a couple of things. I'm amazed at how many people very quickly forgot about the disappointment of there only being an 8-game schedule. And it was like, oh my gosh, everybody's got a gauntlet, because this is what happens when you throw in teams that have history like Oklahoma and Texas into the conference. But how about the fact that Arkansas didn't end up getting just the absolute worst draw humanly possible, and Arkansas ends up not having to face Georgia or Alabama? That to me was absolutely stunning. I'm still looking at this through the lens that we kind of looked at before, and I'm looking at teams like Auburn and Tennessee, where, look, if you have to face Alabama and Georgia annually, I mean, that, and I get it, this is only for 2024, but before, that has been something that has limited your ceiling. That has just been reality. And so I'm still looking at it from that standpoint, saying, yeah, I think they have a really, really tough draw. Yeah. I think you could look at a team like LSU and say, okay, you're really in a nice position. The fact that you get Alabama at home, the fact that you get Oklahoma at home, and you have a real chance, depending on how this year plays out, to feel like you're a legit contender for 2024. But I love what they did with Oklahoma and Texas, kind of breaking them up, saying, hey, you guys, we're going to make sure that everybody gets at least one of these two newcomers in the SEC. So all around, I didn't think that this was some crazy imbalance, and I kind of like the way that it broke down.
Yeah, a couple of years ago when LSU was probably putting their 24 schedule together, they did not think it was going to include 8 SEC games and 2 Big Ten games.
Isn't that weird how that's going to play out? I mean, I still can't quite believe it. But you know what? And it gets lost in the shuffle of this this news that the SEC does have the 8-game conference schedule is we are going to see better non-conference games moving forward. And if you look at some of these future non-conference schedules, get over to FBS schedules and kind of check that out if you're feeling a little bit down in the dumps about this. We're going to see some of these great matchups and great home and homes. I'm really, really looking forward to being able to kind of look at that. And even though it does feel like, all right, we're kind of on hold from the 9-game in the SEC, that at least is going to be a positive of the 12-team playoff.
Yeah, it's like this year's schedule for Georgia. Like, if I'm a fan of them, and I know they had Oklahoma, I know that they were told don't play that game because they're coming into the SEC. I know all of that. But if I'm a Georgia fan and I'm paying, season ticket prices for the back-to-back national champ, which I have to assume have gone up and there's a lot of buzz, like, I'm not excited about that schedule at all. Like, kind of like, what game would I be if I'm a Georgia fan? Like, home game that I'm going to, that I'm paying money for, would I be excited about?
That's a good question. I mean, and I talk to Georgia fans a lot, and they've kind of just changed their mindset of now it's just let's go on as many road trips as possible because that's really what this has come down to. And to be fair, if they had the Oklahoma game on this year's schedule, it would be like, okay, this is we're talking much differently about their schedule overall. But I kind of understand the frustration with it. I'm looking at even the 2024, and I'm thinking to myself, man, so Auburn, all right, that could maybe be really intriguing, but given how much Auburn has really struggled in Athens the past 15 years or so, I mean, I don't really think that you can say that one has moved the needle. Tennessee was a blowout last year, so you can't really say that's moved the needle. And then, you can kind of forecast, though, that water's going to find its level. And in the latter half of the decade, Georgia's home schedule is all of a sudden going to be really good after the first half of this decade, in which, you're right, it just is probably not worth the price of admission.
Yeah, and look, this is not a slight at Georgia. If Georgia was playing the who's who, you'd still probably favor Georgia in most of those matchups, but just the way it's played out, it is going to be what feels like a pretty easy walk, certainly into the month of November when you play Tennessee there, depending on how Tennessee gets to that point as well. So it's definitely something that a lot of people have paid attention to. Let's stay in the SEC East, Connor, because the Florida Gators right now would be a team that I would continue to check their pulse to make sure that they're still there, because 2023 is coming up. Last year was disappointing. I'm not sure how it's going to play out at the quarterback position. They've got some tough games this year, but then you move forward to 2024 and who they have in conference, and then you put that with Miami, Florida State, and UCF. And look, Billy Napier used to come on the show all the time when he was at Louisiana Lafayette. I think he's a hell of a football coach. But right now, I cannot find a way for them to be the Florida that we know here in the next couple of years. And then you worry, is it going to be too late?
Is this what Florida needs, though? I mean, think about that. Think about all the bravado that Florida has had in the post-Tim Tebow era, and how many times we have sold ourselves on, wow, Florida's back. They have their coach, their coach of the future. Every coach, I feel like, post-Urban, we've said that at least one point we've felt like, all right, they got their guy. This is going to work out. Yeah. And Billy Napier is starting off in a much different place. And while he preached patience from the jump, you see these things and you see what the schedule looks like in 2024. I mean, for crying out loud, they can't even keep a 2025 quarterback with the Austin Simmons thing, the way that plays out, with a guy reclassifying to 2023 and going to Ole Miss. I mean, it's just bizarro world in Gainesville, but maybe that's kind of what they need after it seems like all their new coaches start off so great and they set the bar so unbelievably high. And maybe, just maybe, Billy Napier can be someone who benefits from having it look like the deck is stacked against him. We talked about that with LSU going into the 2018 season, wherein that schedule was considered one of the toughest, if not the toughest, in all of college football. Joe Burrow comes in, isn't necessarily 2019 Joe Burrow, but very quickly we saw, okay, this LSU team, they can kind of rise to the occasion. I thought it benefited that team that they had an entire offseason about hearing how difficult their schedule was and how much it looks like they just have nothing in their favor. And maybe Florida will benefit in that same way. But, man, you're exactly right. It's kind of hard to find the silver lining right now.
Catching up with Connor O'Gara Saturday down south here on OTB. Connor, when you look at some of the games maybe we're not going to get in 2024, and again, like this could be a one-year deal. There's not like a long-term marriage to this schedule. We might get a different in 25 and 26. We might finally get the 9 games that we were all hoping for. But like initially, like, you know, here in Baton Rouge, you're not going to play Mississippi State for the first time in like 100 years, like literally 100 years. You're not going to have LSU Auburn. And look, you've covered the SEC long enough. You know that that game is always wild. It is always unpredictable, and something always happens. So, like, for me, those are a couple that kind of stand out. The fact that we're not going to get those, and we're used to seeing those every single year. Did you have any like that?
Here's one that nobody's really talking about, and they should. Alabama, Texas A&M has quietly become really interesting. Think about how bad A&M has been these last 2 years. And think about how competitive those games have been. I mean, A&M beats Alabama in 2021 in College Station, of course, then last year, if not for a totally incompetent goal line call, that A&M probably wins that game too. And that game, you know, ends up being one of those that we look back on and we're like, wow, how was that close, even with Jalen Milroe as Alabama's starting quarterback? And that game with Jimbo and Nick Saban has become must-see. And instead, we're now looking at that schedule, and that's not on there. And that could be one of those annual rivalries that all of a sudden goes by the wayside, just as it feels like it's getting contentious between Jimbo and Saban. So that's one that I kind of looked at. And I think, you know, people lose track of teams like South Carolina and the SEC just because of the depth in this conference. But, you know, they pretty much just had their rivals wiped out. I mean, they're not getting those rivalry games that we've come to know with, you know, with Florida, with Georgia, with Tennessee. And if South Carolina takes that next step this year, we're going to have a lot of those questions going into 2024 about how they stack up against the elite teams in the SEC East. So those are kind of the ones that came to mind for me. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot more that we'll probably lose track of a little bit. But we're going to get new rivalries, and that's always a good thing in my book.
All right, Connor, last one before we let you go. We've got Media Days coming up. I mean, it's going to be here before we know it. I think it's about a month away. It's going to be in Nashville. A lot of us excited about it being in Nashville. You know, not throwing shade at Hoover, Birmingham area, or even Atlanta, but it's going to be new, and a lot of us are excited about it. But what's going to be maybe – do you have one thing yet? Are you trying to cook that up right now? Like, what's maybe the one thing that you want to get answered maybe, or find out more information about once you get to SEC Media Days?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear some of these coaches actually talk about what they think of the 8-game versus 9-game conference schedule. And we've heard some of them talk about it, but to get a little bit more in depth and to get some of their reasoning behind, I think it's a really interesting subject. It's going to be probably the talk of Media Days. I don't really care as much about how each specific coach feels about NIL legislation and what the federal government can do about that. Will we get a baby Gronk question? Please, God, no. I really hope we get nothing about that, and maybe hopefully nobody has to ask Mark Stoops or Eli Drinkwitz why he's wearing their colors as a 10-year-old kid. That just seems absurd. But it'd be really interesting probably to hear kind of how they're talking about conference schedules. I would ideally like to hear everyone's opinion about horns down and whether or not it should be penalized. I've already asked Drink about that. He is in favor of horns down, kind of letting it slide. I think that we need to get to the bottom of this and really be able to dig into all things Oklahoma and Texas.
Hey, what people don't realize about Drink is, man, he is somebody that he is going to speak what's on his mind. Like, Drink is – he's not what he's perceived out there. Like, don't let the glasses and the visor fool you. Like, my man Drink is coming in hot at all times.
Yeah, he brings it. And I'll say it, like, you know what? If Mizzou has one of those 8-4 seasons, which, look, the percentage of returning production, the great stat that Bill Connolly puts together every single year, they should be in line for improvement. A lot of people slept on what Blake Baker did as a defensive coordinator last year, and getting a new offensive play caller should help them as well. But, like, if Drink ever gets to a place where he has a program that's, like, humming and 8-4, like, look out, because he's going to all of a sudden be on the national radar of everybody, because you don't get a lot of coaches that are like him and that they're not afraid to speak their mind. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, we know about Blake Baker here. He had a really good run as a linebacker coach and doing some great things there as a defensive coordinator. All right, Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Connor, we feel honored. We appreciate you hopping on for the first time since you became a dad. Means a lot to us.
Absolutely appreciate it, man.
All right. Connor O'Gara. You can follow Connor on Twitter. Does a great job for Saturday Down South at CJ O'Gara there on Twitter. All right, we will take a break. When we come back, it's Monday, so you know what that means. It's also 9:15, so we're going to catch up with our guy holding the mayo, Devin Snow, here on OTB.
OTB, OT.
All right, Riverlands Insurance. Riverlandsinsurance.com is the website, and you can go check out the website. You can go check out exactly what they can do for you, but I would encourage you, more importantly, just pick up the phone and call Thomas Hemel today. Once you call him, I promise you, man, you're not going to be disappointed in that phone call. So many of our loyal listeners have done it like right after we get done with the live read, and they have saved a lot of money. All right, he's going to get you in the best possible situation. 225-206-1517. Now, that is a 225 area code, but we tell you every single day, if you're listening to us up in Shreveport, if you're listening to us in Alexandria, New Orleans, no matter where you are hearing us, if you are in the state of Louisiana, Thomas can help you. He can help you today. Riverlands Insurance is going to make sure that you walk away satisfied. So put this number in your phone. Next time that you have an insurance question, concern, you call Thomas. He is going to help you out on the spot. 225-206-1517.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Turn my music high, 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 yeah. You don't know what you're doing. Sure I do. I'm from the streets where the hood can swallow on me. Bullets will follow on me. There's so much that you could run the slalom. And cops comb this top to bottom. They say that we are prone to violence, but it's home sweet home. With personalities clashing, chrome meets chrome. Prices up and down like it's Wall Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood.
Hannegriff, our Omaha home for the College World Series is the Ameristar Casino and Hotel in Council Bluffs, Iowa, just minutes away from downtown Omaha. Enjoy the only casino buffet in the area and a full sports book. Eat, watch, and bet at the Ameristar Casino and Hotel.
Hit me. Right in the sternum this time, T, baby. You already know. You already know. You already
music, young Weezy got that mother hustler music. So ride to it, y'all, vibe to it, y'all.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Welcome back in to OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. It is Monday. It is the second segment, so you know our guy Dev Snow, Hold the Mayo, joins us now. Dev, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy Father's Day to you, man.
I appreciate that. You know, I've been a father a couple times. Still waiting to be a father yet again. I was telling the audience earlier, man, if this baby girl doesn't come soon, I mean, the missus is ready, Dev. We'll just keep it at that. The missus is ready.
Dude, I can't imagine, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah. I also wanted to tell Mario Happy Father's Day. I know you got one out there somewhere, bro. Probably in Kenna or something, you know?
Thank you. I feel like Danny's due a shout out here too somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Benny is a stepdad to a lot.
Absolutely.
I mean, including
sometimes you got to be a
T-Bob.
stepdad. Sometimes you got to be a stepdad first, you know? Sometimes you're just not ready to be a whole dad. You got to be a stepdad first.
Look, one of the greatest stepdads of all time was Devin Snow for a little bit.
For 3 months in cutoff. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait.
Yo,
I did not know that was in cutoff.
Yeah, it was in T-Bob. That's T-Bobville, man. That's where they all get what's the procedure that T-Bob just had done on his whatever? I don't know what it's called, but they all get it in cutoff at one point.
Vasectomy?
Vasectomy.
Yeah. Cutoff is a proper name for that.
See what I'm saying, man?
Yes.
It's crazy how it all just comes full circle like that.
It is. All right, I see you in spread quarters today. So are we staying close to home today?
Yeah,
okay, not going on the road. I know you're in Jackson and you were finding volcanoes. I know you had a good trip up to the port city. So this week we're playing a home game.
Yeah, we're playing a home game. That Jackson, Mississippi trip really did it for me. The Shreveport trip, to me, was amazing. You know, the Jackson, Mississippi one kind of was like, Devin, you need to come back home for a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna stay around here. Obviously, LSU playing today too, so I don't want to not be in the state. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm not in the state, I'd be in Omaha. But dude, diving into those shot numbers, we got to talk about that real quick, man.
I mean, look, like LSU showing off. I fully expected, Dev. I don't know if you did. They're showing off, and so it's like, okay, I expected that. But there's some other teams in the SEC. They should be embarrassed.
Yeah, they should be. And I'm kind of just trying to figure it out, like why they would kind of be that way. I mean, Tennessee, they probably just drinking whiskey, huh? Yeah, I mean, they were probably like, you know, we're not going to take a Jello shot. We on that Jim Beam or whatever, you know.
Okay. There's some fairness to that. Okay.
Florida, you know, Florida, they on that Justin Bieber too, so they probably stayed away from the Jello shots too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
LSU, we don't even know what state we in. We just know we in Omaha and they got Jello shots and we competing for a title. That's I guarantee you that's the mindset up there.
Yeah, because T-Bob I don't think he would know the answer to this question. If you asked a lot of the fans there, like, I know you're in Omaha. What state are you in right now?
Dude.
You'd get some answers.
Yeah. I think a lot of people from down here, they probably think that they like, you know, in Montana or something, you know, like Nebraska, you know. So, but I was actually pleasantly surprised with I think the Wake Forest numbers just has to do with, like, you know, they win.
Yeah.
You know, what you win, you drink, you know, just something like that. But I mean, if you're from Virginia, man, that's what are they doing out there? They obviously not drinking. It's they were on a budget. They knew they were going home quick, Jacob.
I mean, a national seed, a team that has been there before, a team that's won a College World Series. I understand balling on a budget, like we all have to do it at times, but what are we doing here? 566 shots?
Yeah, Stanford at 616.
Stanford's not surprising.
Yeah, they were studying. They had like a test.
Yeah, they got to keep their mind fresh.
Yeah, they were.
How about we got a Baptist school and we got a Methodist school showing up on the board, though? I mean, TCU and Oral Roberts. You know, I get a lot of shade.
Yeah.
I get a lot of shade. You know, growing up Southern Baptist, but I'm just saying they did do their part.
They don't call them Oral Roberts for no reason, man. They know how to drink.
He said it. That's right. The man said it right there.
TCU, and they probably still grieving over last football season. So they just drinking still.
God, Deb, I wish you could have seen. I covered that game in LA, and the next day coming back home, I was on, I connected in Dallas. And so obviously a lot of the TCU fans were on that flight. I have never seen a group of people so miserable in my life. Like, can you imagine, you spend a lot of money to go to those games. And a lot of LSU fans, had an experience like in that 2011 LSU Alabama national championship game. Now, it wasn't the score that game was, but we didn't have to travel far. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just got in our cars and we went back home. Can you imagine spending the money to go out to that game and then getting that ass whipping like they got, and then having to just come back the next day and just wear it?
Yeah, I mean, they got to be kind of used to it, though, huh? I mean, it's happened. Look, I always root for an underdog, but it's tough to be a Horned Frog, man, because they get spanked when it comes to that situation, But you can't deny the talent.
Still alive in Omaha. They found a way.
Yeah, dude, straight up. And then also, we can't deny the talent that's come out of TCU. Your boy, bro, LaDainian Tomlinson. Yeah. That was really where it kind of started kicking off. Because after that, they produced a lot of talent from that school.
The Red Rifle. Okay.
The Red Rifle.
I know a lot of shade coming from other ways on this show about the Red Rifle, but I'm just saying, top 10 QBR in the NFL last year.
Had a long run in Cincinnati. And then also, don't sleep on the kid that's coming out, Max Duggan. Dude, you never know. You never know. So, hey, I wanted to ask Mario real quick, what's going on with this CP3 trade? Because I don't necessarily understand why, a team like the Wizards would do this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you need as much help as you can get. You need, they're going to wind up letting this guy just, release himself, however it works. But it's like, bro, why would you even do this trade?
Yeah, man, I was talking about it during Weekend Winners. To not get even a starter player caliber, back for Bradley Beal is pretty crazy. And we'll see what happens if they include a third team. Maybe they can come away with a little bit more. But I think it's a case that maybe they just waited a little bit too late to trade him. Clearly, they maybe gave him a little bit too much freedom with the no trade clause and him being able to pick his team. I think it's maybe a cautionary tale of signing a player to a massive contract and then maybe keeping him a little bit too long and not just punting.
Okay, because he's still on that massive, it's still a lot of time left on that massive contract, right?
Yeah, he's got $50 million coming next year. It's a lot of money. The Suns are not going to have very much room on the payroll just with him and Durant and Booker. So it's an interesting strategy here.
I just don't agree. You didn't even get a first round pick, nothing.
Yeah, like I said, man, we'll see what the final details of the trade are. But on the surface, it does not look very good for the Wizards. But who knows? We'll see where CP3 winds up.
It's the third time that CP3's just been whatever. I just get rid of him. They'll buy him out. He's come back from it. He did it with the Thunder. They made the postseason. I thought he was done. Whenever he got traded to the Thunder, I'm like, what? It makes no sense. And they didn't buy him out. He stayed there. They had a run. But my man just kind of gets thrown out to the street sometimes.
Yes, it's a little different. Now he's really on his last leg. It's to the point where.
But not this year, but last year in the playoff series. He was still playing at a high level. He can still help a team,
for sure.
Yeah, he provides something a team needs for sure.
Yeah,
he does.
And I think from his point of view, he's really just ring chasing. Like we were talking about with the Scott Kushner the other day. He's gonna go to the place that gives them the best chance to win. Maybe that's the Lakers. Maybe that's the Clippers. I don't know where it is, but we'll see. He's really on his last leg. I think kind of his last stand was that series against the Pelicans. It seems like that took everything out of him. They just haven't had very much success since then.
Word.
Hey, you got 80. You got 83 days until the NFL season here on Spread Lines. What 83 significant? Or are you just counting down?
Every time you see it on the internet, you always see the days, right? And I've yet to see a day yet where I'm like, man, that's kind of close. Dude, 83 days.
Yeah. It's not like it's right around the corner.
No. So Jacob, what do you when you played, did you think that the off season was quick or did you think it was long? Because I'm going to tell you.
I thought it was long. That was really long because coming from college, Dev, you don't have an off season in college. You truly don't. You get done working out in May after finals and the strength coach is like, all right, you go home. And it was, I could get this wrong. I think it was like maximum 10 days off before you started summer workout program. And then you're back. I mean, you're back in it. You're doing conditioning. You're going to summer school because we all took summer school, and you're doing, now they got what they call football school a couple times a week. And so like you got right back into it. And then you get like a week, I think, after summer workouts before training camp, but you got like maybe 3 weeks total off the entire year. In the NFL, like when you're done, like you don't see them for like 3 months. And then some of the veterans, like you don't see them for 5 months. And so, no, it's incredibly long. And it's kind of like, hey, you're a pro. You got to go handle your business. Like when you're not with us from January until the end of April, like we're going to be able to tell what you've been doing or not been doing. And then you come back and then you leave again for a month before you come back for training camp. I have seen guys be in great shape, and then that month later they come back and they're like 12 pounds overweight.
Yeah. That's the period we in right now pretty much is they about to be off a month. They come back like late July. But yeah, that's crazy how it only takes a month to just completely blow it. You know what I mean?
83. Who's the first number 83 that pops into your brain?
Trayvon Durrell, honestly. I don't know many.
Okay, well, for me, it's probably Keith Poole.
Arizona State, maybe? Keith Poole, I think?
Yeah, Keith Poole played for the Saints. He was one of the guys that just got lit up.
He was little. He's a little fella.
Dude, I don't even know if he was number 83, but that's what pops up. I'm pretty sure he was.
Taylor, number 83?
Who else?
Terry Glenn when he played for the Cowboys.
It's like the Cowboys, okay, yeah.
Rest in peace.
The more I think about it, like if I thought about it, it'd go Wes Welker. Like if I thought about it.
Yeah.
But my initial thought was Joe Jaravicious.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. First one that popped into my head.
There's a name.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking Harry Douglas, too.
He was 83.
Weird. Yeah.
Harry Douglas was 83. Joe Jaravicious, Penn State legend, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see if I got these colleges right.
Stallworth, too.
Yeah, Dante Stallworth. Because I think he switched later in his career once you could have like a team number, but I think he was 83 for sure. Okay, look.
Yeah.
Number 83. Glad you put it on the list there. But I got to get to the DMV data breach. Now, I heard some dads talking about this while they were watching golf at the indoor soccer game yesterday. I was kind of ear hustling a little bit as I was ordering something. Break this down for me, because that's the first time I heard about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's as simple as, it was millions, but everybody got their social security, driver's license number, street, and like that's what happened, So basically, I'm gonna be honest with you. I changed all my passwords. Did y'all?
I'd like to tell you yes, I did, but no. Probably needs to get done.
Bro, if anybody needs to do it, Jacob Hester. Jacob Hester needs to do it.
Yeah.
They steal my identity. I ain't got much. They can have whatever.
Yeah.
But
and I've had issues with this before too, Dave. You'd think I'd be smarter.
Oh, you had somebody take it before?
I have, yeah. Oh yeah. I'm a meathead. I'm a meathead, I mean, sometimes, you just you got some blind spots, and this is one for me. Now I got to go change all the passwords. There's a lot though, man. You got bank accounts, you got streaming services, you got credit cards, you got PayPal, you got Venmo, you got all these different things.
I wrote them all down. It was like over 25. So best of luck.
Oh, so you wrote them down. So all I got to do is come to the spread quarters and take the piece of paper.
Yeah, I guess technically, as I look at my paper shred, I'm just going to probably just shred that now. But yeah, that's all you got to do.
Mario Taylor, did y'all change y'all's passwords?
No, I've been meaning to. I just didn't. But I'm like Holden Mayo, man. Good luck trying to do anything stealing my information.
Yeah, I didn't change anything.
Yeah. I mean, I got like the monitoring services, like where if someone tries to open a credit card or a loan or something. Like
I got the thing, and I get a text message every time I make a transaction. So like I know if like somebody like does that, but
like every transaction you get a text.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, I need to get that.
I need to get that as well. As well done, sir. There, Dev, where are we going today? Do we know? I know you're playing a home game here. We're not going on the road. Jackson, Mississippi just ruined all away games. I mean, it's a tough venue to play in. They got a volcano that nobody knew about. It was just a real struggle, and I get it. So playing a home game today, how far are we going away from the spread quarters?
I don't think far at all. I think somewhere like in Metairie,
Is there a place in Metairie you haven't been yet, though? You've been doing this for 3 years.
Oh man, they got all kinds of places. Because, dude, to be honest with you, I don't, and I'm not gonna say I don't enjoy going to Metairie, but it's a risk because it's not the same like seasoning out there. It's like it's just different. So there's been some winners in Metairie. There's definitely been some losers. But I got this one place in Metairie, man. They keep hitting me up. I just got to go over there, man. It's like I want to say it's like almost like a half donut shop too. So yeah, we'll see what's up.
So if they reach out to you and you go there, I mean, they're leaving themselves open to being put on blast, right?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just and it's not even that I'm looking to go somewhere and be like, hey man, this place sucks, but it's also like if I go somewhere and it's just a simple experience right away, nothing really going on, and it's just like some mediocre plate. I mean, they're gonna have to kind of accept that energy. The energy's the word.
Yeah.
You're gonna see the energy in me if it's just regular.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. Like watching your videos, it brought me so much joy being a 3-1 grader and how much I could tell you appreciated and enjoyed Herbie K's in Shreveport.
Dude, it was awesome. Yeah. Seriously, man. And the people were great. Everything was awesome about that. Dude, last thing I want to say, and I'll let y'all go. It was super awesome weekend. Obviously watched the LSU game. I was at Tracy's watching that, but Cade Beloso hit me up, bro, and I thought that was cool, man. Like and he hit me up on Saturday morning.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, saying one of my videos I had posted, he's like, man, this is some of the funniest stuff I've ever seen on the internet. Saturday morning. I'm like, bro, LFG.
Yep.
Exclamation point.
Yes.
Like, let's get this win.
Yes. Hey, that's when a team, some people might look at that and be like, wait a minute, what? No, that's when a team is loose, and that's when a team like knows they're that dude.
Dude, yeah. Like it was like I knew they were gonna win, and he definitely had that. Like they were feeling. So let's go, baby. Beloso bombs on them beans, baby. Let's go. What a day.
Absolutely. Dev, you're the man. We appreciate you every single Monday. Devin Snow, hold the Mayo. Dev, where can they find your stuff as far as you got any merch available?
Yeah, I do. htmsports.com/shop. I got shirts available. And then I'm looking to make more stuff here soon. But htmsports.com, and then I'm on Twitter at SnowLikeJohn, JONN.
Dev, you're the man. We'll catch up with you next week.
All right, y'all take care.
All right, before we go to break, I want to remind you, go to RejuveMeMedical.com. Remember, there's a new location in Shreveport, but here in Baton Rouge, you can dial 225-263-4804. But when you go to that website, you'll find a full list of conditions that they can treat. And we're talking about fatigue and insomnia, right? Thyroid deficiency, weight gain, gaining weight, and you can't explain it. You don't know what's going on. You're working out maybe, and you can't lose weight. Well, there's something going on, and they can get to the bottom of it over at Rejuve Me Medical. Remember, get that consultation set up today at RejuveMeMedical.com. All right, when we come back, we will see if T-Bob's phone is charged. We're going to cold call him. Hopefully he picks up. We'll see here on OTB.
OTB, OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap Tigers and Vols from Omaha and get you set for all of Monday's action at the College World Series. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back into OTB. We tried T-Bob during the break and no T-Bob. There was no answer from T-Bob this morning. I thought we had it set up. He was going to come on, and after I listed who was coming on the show, he asked for a time when someone was coming on the show, and then he said 9:30. I guess his phone was on. Mario said it was ringing, so it's charged, but maybe he's got something going on with the girls. And look, he's on vacation. I'm just giving him a hard time. He doesn't have to come on the show. I know he had some takes because he wanted to get off some Tennessee takes. And if you didn't see, again, his little hype video, it was fantastic. So we'll see if we can catch up with T-Bob at some point, probably tomorrow.
Where'd T-Bob go again?
Hilton Head. South Carolina.
Interesting.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, South Carolina. It's like 2 hours from Myrtle Beach, I think.
Closer to Charleston, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like T-Bob right now. Yeah, I think closer to Charleston. I think it is Charleston, basically. We just had Hunt Palmero, Hunt Palmer here in studio. Hunt, I'll be honest with you, fellas, didn't look like a lot of nerves. Now, I did ask him about the matchup. I said, look, this was always going to have to be the matchup. It was inevitable. These two teams were going to have to play each other. It could have been in the championship series. It could have been like it is tonight. And he did say, yeah, I'd rather be Oral Roberts, but he did feel like he was feeling okay about the matchup. I mean, y'all know Hunt pretty well. A lot of times he's got sweaty palms when it comes to LSU baseball. Feels pretty loose.
Yeah, and that man probably knows Wake Forest pretty well, too. Wake Forest has been really good all year. I was telling Hold the Mayo during the break, I know from working on Hanny's show that their nickname all year was Rake Forest. Like, they've been one of the best.
Yeah, big Deke energy all season long, for sure.
Big Deke energy. I like that. To be the man, you got to beat the man. Doesn't matter when in the tournament.
You do. And this was always going to be, again, this was always going to happen. There's been two teams that have been number one in the country all season long. It has been you until May the 8th, and it has been them since then, right? So this is what I consider the two best teams in college baseball. That's not throwing slight at Florida, who's the 2 seed, Arkansas, who's the 3, who's not here in Omaha. It's not throwing shade at any of those other teams. I think Florida is right there in the conversation, right? They held on to beat Oral Roberts yesterday. But I think this is, when you look at down the road and who's going to be drafted, when you look at future success, I think it's the two best teams in college baseball. It's going to be your two versus their two, right? Both aces already pitched here in Omaha, and the teams both got wins. That's why you were here in this one. And I am not ever going to be, man, I hope we had the easiest schedule. That's just not going to be me. And when it comes to football, I wanted 9 SEC games. I want every good team that you can have on that schedule, because I just think it brings out the best in programs like LSU. LSU is a superior athletic department, and it brings out the best. If you ask these players, and just knowing them like we do, having a chance to have some of them on the show and just having conversations with them, they would have it no other way. So it's going to be a hell of a baseball game. Wake Forest has the same energy. Like, this is who Wake Forest wants. This is who LSU wants. And that's what makes tonight's game just juicy as hell. Like, it's 6 p.m., right? You don't get the day game, right? The losers are playing in the day game. Like, you earn the right to play another primetime game. And, whew, can't wait for it, man. I'm really excited about tonight's baseball game. By the way, and none of you care, but I care, and weekend winners, I had my biggest weekend winner that I forgot before we go to Ask the Bench. The United States men's national team, they won the CONCACAF Nations League. They beat Canada 2-0. They beat Mexico before that on Thursday 3-0. So they win the semifinal and final by combined 5-0. And there's your United States men's national team full report. By the way, they're going to have a FIFA event here in Baton Rouge between Honduras and Barbados, if I'm not mistaken.
Something
Mario.
like that, yeah.
I think that was the two teams. It was like an actual FIFA event. And the field conditions didn't allow them to play the game. It was at Olympia, and apparently the field wasn't up to par. And if you've seen CONCACAF World Cup qualifying, if it's not up to par when you've gone to Trinidad and Tobago and there's been like 6 inches of standing water on the field and they let them play in that, Olympia must be in some rough shape. And so we'll see if we can get to the bottom of it throughout this week's shows. But we need to take that final break, because when we come back, Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Coors Light, Busy Heart Seltzer, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus, Wheat to close out today's show.
OTB, OT.
All right, go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. We told you about buying new, customizing on the website in the first segment of the show. We want to tell you now about the rentals. Maybe you took a rental. Maybe you already took a rental to Omaha. Maybe you're there now. Maybe you took a rental to the beach. Maybe you took a rental to a baseball, softball, volleyball tournament. You got extra equipment that you needed something a little bit bigger. Whatever the case is, everything is available. So if you need that bigger SUV, if you need a truck, if you need to see in a minivan because you need more space, it's there for you per day rental prices. But if you want something smaller, maybe, and I don't know this world, but maybe you get a weekend getaway with, you and your significant other. Maybe you want a sedan because you've got the minivan for your everyday life and you want something smaller, better on gas mileage. You can do that as well. Go to the website. Check out those per-day rental prices. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, I'm happy to say we have vehicles in stock and more coming in at no markup. Don't pay over MSRP. Come on down to Corvette Toyota and choose your new Toyota today. That's Corvette Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day.
Me, Jimmy Ott, Charles Hannegriff. It's live at lunch from the Ameristar Sportsbook. The Monday edition is brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com. Monday, live at lunch from Ameristar in Omaha, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, Ask the Bench brought to you by Cola Cruise Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Sweet. Let Taylor know that it's been 10,004 days since the Dallas Cowboys have won the Super Bowl. I think you fully aware of that?
No, I don't keep count. I don't pull for Dallas because they do or don't win Super Bowls, so no.
I'm sure Taylor's seen that meme a million times, just like I saw the DeMar Hamlin is bad before Michael Thomas meme a million times.
Yeah, look, the team that I cheer for the loudest has never won the Super Bowl. They played in it with 3-1 greater Stan Humphries as the quarterback, but yeah, they've never won it, so I can't really say anything. Mac Lindsay, update on the Jello shot challenge 9 minutes ago. 12,325. Ask the Bench. Jake, have you coached your kids in sports? Does that help or hurt your relationship? I have. I've coached all of my boys in different sports, mostly obviously in football, and I I personally think it helps. I mean, you get to spend great time with them. You get to see them interact with their peers. You get a chance to kind of teach them life lessons. And so I guess it depends on how you do it. I mean, some dads, they're aggressive. They're aggressive. And that maybe turns them off to that sport. But if you do it the right way, I definitely think it is an advantage for you. Let's see. Ask the bench, if you were forced to move yourself and your family to another state, which would you choose?
I like Florida or Texas. I know that the tax thing is a significant thing for some people in Florida, but probably one of those two states.
Yeah, I'm going Texas. I've spent a lot of time there, so yeah, I'll go Texas.
I've lived in California and Colorado, both great options. I mean, both incredible states. Where I lived, I know a lot of people, California is not your cup of tea. I lived in Southern California. I don't know anything about above Orange County, really. I don't. But the spot that I lived in, I enjoyed. Colorado was awesome as well. Maybe even choose Colorado. All right, it's going to do it for today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have a great group of guests. We might have T-Bob Hebert if his phone is charged. We will see. And we'll see you tomorrow on OTB.
OTB, OT.
Go to AccuTempBR.com, AccuTempBR.com. If you want to schedule that appointment, you can do it right now on that website I just gave you. Right there over in the top right corner. It says schedule online. I have done it during the show before, and they came out that same day. Chances are, if you do it right now and you have an issue, they're going to come out today. Now, the last thing that you want is to have your air condition go out right now. It is hotter than hot. It is hotter than the devil's lair. You don't want that situation, so make sure if you have any concern that your equipment is about to be on its last leg, right? Make sure you get it checked up. And if you're part of the Star membership, that is a service that they come out a couple of times a year, and they make sure that your equipment is working at its peak efficiency, peak performance, and you're not going to have to worry about it going out here in the heat of the Baton Rouge and South Louisiana summer. So go to their website, get that appointment scheduled today, AccuTempBR.com.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.